This is an era where everyone can awaken, yet I awakened abilities that everyone envies. Not only can I kill through thousands of troops with a broken sword, but I can also use all forbidden magic. A century ago, demon towers began appearing all over the world. Countless demons flew out from them, bringing endless disaster to the world. In the face of these powerful demons, humanity had no chance of victory. Just when humanity was on the verge of extinction, the first generation of awakeners, the progenitors, appeared. Each of them was unstoppable. To prevent monsters from emerging from the towers, they attacked the towers multiple times. This was humanity's first victory against an invasion from another dimension. The first generation of awakeners were called heroes by the people, and their legacy is commemorated in the Shrine of Progenitors. In the library, I was eagerly flipping through the world of heroes. The mage who could cast any spell without chanting incantations. The blade master who killed through 10,000 troops with just a branch. Today they are known as the legendary awakeners. My dream is to leave behind my own legend like them. Now the mark of the chosen has appeared on my hand. I will definitely become an awakener, just like the heroes. But misfortune still struck. This year marks my third qualification exam. If I fail again this year, I'll never have another chance to become an awakener. However, fate still played a cruel joke. The entire class was celebrating passing the qualification exam. Only I stared at the rejection notice on my phone. Heavy gloom shrouded my entire being, tears welling up in my eyes. Senior, we're going to the admission celebration party. You, the shame of awakeners, can be responsible for cleaning the classroom. At least you can clean up some trash, right? It seems I'll never become an awakener. Is this the difference between reality and dreams? The mark on my hand feels more like a scar, causing me endless pain. Just then, the boys in class suddenly appeared. Quick, come to the school gate. It turned out that Kaisei, a classmate from 3 years ago, had returned to campus as an A-rank awakener for an interview. He appeared gracious and composed in front of the reporters, showing understanding for my lateness, constantly talking about how he had helped me in the past. But in reality, he couldn't even remember my name now, and only recalled it with his companion's reminder. When we were together, there was no so-called help, only punches and kicks. He never treated me as human, even taking away money I had worked hard to save. And today, Kaisei actually asked me to participate in the filming interview. What was his purpose? I didn't want to participate in his filming interview. I absolutely refused to be his background decoration. Just as I was about to leave this ridiculous filming, listen, you failed the qualification exam again, didn't you? Even if we waste your day, what's there to care about? I recalled the pain from 3 years ago, unconsciously enduring it all silently, forcing a smile to cooperate with the interview, saying words against my will. I'm very grateful to classmate Kaisei. However, after the interview ended, no one would remember my name. At this moment, I finally understood that even if you're the embodiment of evil, as long as you have power, everyone will stand by your side. Just then, Kaisei and his 2 companions approached me, inviting me to go to the Shrine of Progenitors tonight. If I went, he would request the association to give me one more makeup exam opportunity. Kaisei said he was doing this only to increase his own fame. The specific arrangements would be discussed once we got there. Although I was suspicious of this despite how much I hated them, I had no choice. This was my only chance. This time it would definitely work. It turned out that Kaisei's final filming location was also at the Shrine of Progenitors. After the filming was completed and everyone else had left, Kaisei went alone to the depths of the shrine. Found the entrance? His 2 companions were already here, digging for the real entrance to the tomb. Just then, I happened to arrive here too. Seeing this scene, I angrily cursed, "Are you crazy? Do you know who's buried here?" Kaisei disdainfully crushed the stone blocks on the ground. Of course, but that's just historical carrion. I don't care at all. I only want the treasures inside. Hearing this, I was stunned. Thinking of the heroic deeds of the progenitors, my idols, and my dreams, I went completely mad, immediately rushing forward, wanting to beat Kaisei senseless. However, Kaisei simply stepped aside lightly to avoid my attack, then delivered a fierce punch to my abdomen. The violent impact made me vomit a large amount of blood. I clutched my stomach, rolling on the ground continuously, feeling my vision blur. Was I going to die soon? At this time, Kaisei's companions had just found the treasure beneath the tomb. The package was filled with various magic crystals and weapons. Kaisei picked up a crystal, ecstatic. This light is actually emitted by the crystal itself. I'm going to be rich. Kaisei lifted me by the collar and revealed the truth about why he called me here. You're wondering why I tricked you into coming here, right? Because I heard you've been researching the progenitors in the library. Perfect to serve as our scapegoat. You failed the qualification exam, became disheartened, and finally decided to steal treasures from the tomb, then disappeared without a trace the next day. Your glorious deeds will appear in tomorrow's headlines. How do you think this story sounds? Goodbye. With that, Kaisei let go of his grip. I looked at them with unwillingness and anger, unable to make a sound, until I fell into the icy river water. Was I going to die like this? All the daily training, all the tests I took, everything was meaningless. No one would remember me. Just then, spheres of light began glowing in the water. When I opened my eyes, I found the surrounding light spheres gradually condensing into human figures. They were the heroic spirits of the progenitors, representing the pinnacle of various fields. At this moment, the mark on my hand emitted rays of light. They also noticed the mark on my hand, the mark of the void. It won't awaken any skills, but on the other hand, it might manifest any power you've never imagined. You can choose one of us and make a contract with them. Archery, magic, swordsmanship, martial arts, whoever you choose, you will gain incredibly powerful strength from them. Although I wanted to become an A-rank awakener respected by everyone like Kaisei, I wanted unparalleled power in this world. Power that could overwhelm everything. Enough to erase all the humiliation I had suffered. So I chose all of them. I want all of your power. Give me everything. Just when they thought this was impossible, the mark on my hand emitted dazzling light once again. The next second, all the heroic spirits were absorbed into the mark's space. At this moment, Kaisei and the others outside were preparing to leave. Suddenly, huge water droplets erupted from the water. Just as Kaisei and the others were puzzled, I floated slowly above their heads, my entire body glowing with blue light. Soon I landed in front of them, looking at them coldly. They just thought I was like a cockroach, stubbornly crawling back up. I gently picked up a branch from the ground. However, in their eyes, this seemed so ridiculous. Do you want to fight back against us with a branch? I ignored their mockery, just gently swinging a few times, adapting to the changes in my body. Kaisei gradually grew impatient and gave orders to his lackeys, immediately cut off his head. Immediately, the magic mark on my hand lit up, materializing a blade from thin air. It turned out one of Kaisei's lackeys had already become an A-rank awakener swordsman. He felt that killing me would be a piece of cake, so he raised his sword and slashed at me. In an instant, our positions crossed, and he still had that confident smile on his face. But the next second, sword wounds appeared all over his body. Then he let out a heart-wrenching scream. The other two watched in stunned disbelief at this result. You're a bit weak. Who's next? The other lackey, a fat guy, immediately used magic to attack me. Mari Mari roar, gaze of destruction. I simply extended one finger. Golden light continuously gathering at my fingertip. A golden lightning bolt struck where the fat guy was standing. This is impossible! He didn't chant any incantation at all. After a cloud of smoke, the fat guy was already lying on the ground, lifeless. This is impossible. Using a branch as a sword, magic without incantations. Kaisei remembered the legendary swordsman who killed through an army of 10,000 with a single branch, and the mage who could cast any spell without chanting incantations. Today these stories are merely considered legends, with few people believing they're real. He never expected that the legends of the past would appear before his eyes, making him unable to believe what was happening. However, what he didn't know was that 106 heroic spirits of the progenitors now all resided within my body. During the day, you trampled my dignity and left your legend in the world, but tonight you will remember my brand new mythology. Looking at the changes in my body, I also felt incredulous, feeling my entire body filled with power. The heroes I once revered were now actually in my void mark, the mark of the void. Looking at them, they seemed quite satisfied with the environment of the mark's space. But it seemed like everyone was eyeing my body hungrily, as if they wanted to devour me. The first to emerge was the swordsman I was most familiar with, Raikiro, who had once killed through an army of 10,000 monsters with just a branch. I didn't expect anyone would still remember me. Kid, what are you planning to do? However, I misunderstood. I thought he was talking about Kaisei. However, in front of him, Kaisei was nothing but trash. He didn't care about him at all. I'm talking about that thing behind him. Only then did I notice the abnormality. The package containing treasures behind Kaisei was emitting an eerie glow. I rushed forward to check the situation, but he mistakenly thought I was going to harm him and panicked, materializing weapons in the void. I raised my hand and threw a punch. His body spun out of control and flew dozens of meters away. Get out of my way! The package continuously emitted countless streams of evil black energy. Instantly, enormous energy erupted from within, and an invisible pressure suddenly enveloped the surroundings. What is this thing? A huge monster appeared before my eyes, its entire body filled with evil aura, striking fear into people's hearts. Kaisei behind me trembled as he got up, looking at this scene in terror. A demon! Why is there a demon here? This is one of the bosses from the demon towers, sealed in the tomb by the progenitors. And now, you've brought them out. Some demons survive through hiding in dormancy. This guy is called the Pest of Futility, a black sphere covered in eyes and countless tentacles. Danger level, Super S rank. A walking disaster that continuously releases poisonous gas capable of killing everyone within several kilometers. In my era, such demons were common, but for your generation, they're quite overwhelming. At this moment, Kaisei was trembling with fear. I can't die here. Saying this, he turned and ran. I quickly reminded him to stop because this type of monster prioritizes moving targets. However, it was too late. All the monster's eyes turned toward Kaisei's direction. Suddenly, a tentacle shot out, heading straight for him. Kaisei quickly raised his sword to block, but it was useless. With the sound of breaking sword, the tentacle pierced straight through his chest. Soon, countless small tentacles spread throughout his body, continuously draining his life force. The next second, all the flesh and blood in his body was drained, leaving only a shriveled corpse. "I'm sorry, I already warned you. Too bad you won't get to see my mythological legend." The scene changes. At this moment, the city center suddenly exploded. A three-headed hellhound appeared out of nowhere, continuously destroying the urban area. Just then, a man appeared in front of the three-headed hellhound. People around cheered upon seeing him. "Great! It's the S-rank awakener, Kisarog!" The next second, the three-headed hellhound immediately attacked the man. But Kisarog simply leaped lightly, swinging his fist forcefully toward the ground. The three-headed hellhound was eliminated with a single strike. Does anyone know where Kaisei is? Just as Kisarog was about to contact him by phone, a terrifying pressure suddenly descended. Looking back, he discovered. This pressure covered the entire city. Everyone on the scene except him was lying on the ground, unable to move. There's no mistake. Even a rank awakeners can't resist this pressure. This must be at least an S-rank monster. And the source of this pressure was actually the Shrine of Progenitors. Back to the Shrine of Progenitors, Raichiro stepped forward and put his arm around me. "Aren't you going to give me your body yet? This monster isn't something the current you can handle." At this moment, other voices were coming from inside my body, all arguing for control of my body. "Is this what you want? I can lend my body to all of you. But I have only one condition. Let me witness just how strong you really are. Someday, I will surpass all of you." Hearing this, all the heroic spirits were surprised. Raichiro was also helpless upon seeing this. "Looks like I can't have this body to myself. Then let's begin. I'll go first, guys." Ha! With a sword strike, the monster's tentacles were cut into countless pieces, and the branch in my hand also broke into 2 pieces. The monster's counterattack followed immediately. I then switched heroic spirits, lightly dodging to the side, then struck the tentacle with a palm, directly breaking it. Taking advantage of this opportunity, I quickly bent down to pick up the wooden stick on the ground, wielding it like a long shield against the monster. Then with a handstand spin, a whirlwind kick, using the tentacle's force, turning its power against itself, I heavily slammed the monster to the ground. As the monster was bounced into the air with the shattering ground, I immediately grabbed the bow and arrows from the ground, aimed and fired. Countless arrows simultaneously hit the monster. Hearing the monster's screams, I didn't stop. This was just the beginning. I hadn't witnessed the full power of the heroic spirits yet. Then I fought the monster for 300 rounds, using each heroic spirit's professional skills one by one. Finally, I came to Kaisei's corpse and picked up his broken sword. At this time, the monster was also frightened by my attacks and turned to flee, while controlling 2 tentacles to attack me. My eyes then flashed with electric light, my entire body covered in lightning, and the monster's tentacles instantly turned to charcoal. I jumped with force, leaping high into the air. End this. Ultimate technique. 1 strike, 2 halves. The monster was split in 2. Finally, with the help of all the heroic spirits, I defeated the monster. However, at this moment, not far away on a tree branch, a crow witnessed the entire process of me killing the monster. On the other side of the city, monster corpses were being stacked one by one, and atop the pile of monsters, a man sat making a phone call. What? It's already been defeated? Looks like I was a step too slow. Do you know who killed it? Through the information sent back by the crow, a student from the training academy. Hearing this, the man suddenly became interested. I want to meet him. The man was none other than the currently strongest awakener in the world, Midori. At the training academy, all the students were feeling anxious about last night's pressure. Some students were even boasting, "You know what? The person who killed that monster was me." However, such words were definitely not believed by anyone. There hadn't been a new S-rank awakener in 10 years. There were even rumors that the monster from last night was killed by a student from our training academy. And the protagonist of the story, me, was walking past them with unsteady steps. Last night's heroic spirit possession left me feeling completely drained. Just then, a burly figure suddenly rushed out, knocking me to the ground. He also rudely said, "A loser like this couldn't possibly be an S-rank awakener." Raichiro appeared before me. Looking at my disheveled state, he said, "Looking like this, you still want to surpass us? Where did yesterday's arrogance go?" Then he surveyed the surroundings, sensing the aura of the entire academy, stating that the awakeners of this era have fallen to the level of ordinary people. If the demon towers appear again, this world will face destruction. Just then, Raichiro sensed a powerful aura in the crowd. As he was pondering this, I received an urgent notice from the teacher, calling me to immediately go to the playground for a makeup exam. This surprised me. All the students hearing this news expressed curiosity. This was the first time they'd heard that awakener exams could have makeups. Everyone planned to watch me make a fool of myself. First test, 100-meter sprint. Average time, 3.6 seconds. Historical record, 2.7 seconds. With the gunshot, I instantly reached the finish line. My time, 1.2 seconds, breaking the historical record. The spectators were all stunned into silence. Second test, 3,000-meter run. Average time, 4 minutes 20 seconds. Historical record, 3 minutes 17 seconds. I easily ran it in 1 minute 17 seconds. Then came 120 seconds of push-ups. Average count, 215. Historical record, 418. My score, 840. Bench press. Average weight, 400 kilograms. Historical record, 620 kilograms. My score, 1,280 kilograms. Seeing this, everyone's jaws dropped again. Before their eyes, I seemed like a completely different person, no longer the weakling who had failed exams for 3 years. What they didn't know was that I was also shocked by my own performance. Is this your power again? After Reichiro's explanation, I learned that after last night's battle, my body had already undergone a complete transformation. At this moment, in the principal's office, the world's strongest awakener, Midori, was looking at my information on a tablet. It was actually Midori's suggestion that gave me this makeup exam opportunity. The principal stood beside him, confused about this sudden makeup exam. Although his physical performance over the past 3 years has been decent, he's shown no signs of magical power at all. I think this is a waste of your time, Awakener. However, Midori was full of confidence in me. At the Manhwa measurement test site, students from the entire school came to watch. I came before the test fan, needing to use magical power to control the fan's rotation within 10 minutes. Average score, 1,513 rotations. Historical record, 4,022 rotations. For the past 3 years, no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't use magical power, let alone control the fan's rotation. But now I could feel it. It was all around me, continuously entering my body, and I seemed able to control the speed of mana entering and leaving through my breathing. Then I gathered the mana in my palm and injected it. The fan slowly began to rotate. The fan moved as if it were my own limbs, completely under my control. As I continuously output mana, the fan spun faster and faster. The scoreboard was rapidly jumping. A powerful hurricane formed. The scene descended into chaos. The next second, the huge fan exploded. The high-speed rotating blades actually broke free from the ground and shot out, carrying tremendous force toward the teaching building, heading straight for the principal's office. The next second, a huge explosion sounded. After the dust settled, the blade was quietly embedded in the middle of the teaching building. The principal had already been frightened into foaming at the mouth and fainting. Only Midori and his secretary sat calmly to the side. Midori said happily, "Looks like I found someone who can grow to my level. This is so exciting! Ha ha!" I looked at myself in disbelief on the playground. I did this? The examiner hastily announced that I had passed the test and become a true awakener. The students cheered upon witnessing this historic moment. I finally passed the exam. 3 years of effort hadn't been in vain. I had finally taken the first step toward my dream. Reichiro had already anticipated this and said, "After last night's battle, the potential within you was awakened. How could the master of the void mark be an ordinary person? We've been waiting for a century. You might be the one who can fulfill our wishes." Just then, a powerful energy descended from the sky. After the dust settled, Midori emerged from within. I was amazed to see the person before me. It was this era's strongest awakener, Midori. Why was he here? He was even actively shaking hands with me. Congratulations on passing the exam and becoming a qualified awakener. While I was still confused, Midori actually proposed an additional test challenge for me to hit him once. I couldn't believe my ears. Was this a dream? Since the age of 9, he had been a monster killer, at the pinnacle, slaying countless monsters. Now, at 23, he was recognized worldwide as the strongest awakener. Legend had it that he single-handedly quelled the Great Chaos 10 years ago and turned the tide when the Kyushu epidemic raged 5 years ago. To everyone, he was a living legend. I was just a newly awakened rookie, but he wanted me to beat him up. Rules of the match: within 1 minute, you just need to attack me once to win. You can use any weapons, and I'll attack you once every 10 seconds. Saying this, Midori produced a pile of weapons for me to choose from. Don't worry, my body is harder than these blades. You can attack without concern. He drew a finger across his hand, cutting the long blade in half. Seeing this scene, I was extremely nervous. Could I really win? While I was completely bewildered, Reichiro was extremely excited, wanting me to lend him my body again. But I wanted to try, to gain his recognition through my own power. The timer began. I immediately picked up a long blade from the ground, drew it and charged at Midori. I raised it and heavily struck down. Midori simply stepped aside lightly to avoid it. I continuously swung the long blade but could never touch him. The watching students were all excited, worthy of being the strongest awakener. He can even keep staring at his phone while dodging attacks. I attacked left and right, struck high and low, but nothing worked. I unwillingly asked myself why I couldn't touch him even once. Just then, the first 10 seconds arrived. A finger appeared before my eyes, followed by a flick to the forehead. Fortunately, I instinctively tilted my head, and the powerful energy brushed past me. Looking back at the ground, A deep furrow appeared before my eyes. If I had been hit just now, I would have died. Was this really a test? At this moment, Midori looked at me with confusion. He couldn't sense any power fluctuations from me, yet I had dodged that deadly attack just now. I knew I couldn't continue like this. I had to recapture the feeling from last night's battle. I immediately adjusted my breathing and raised my sword again. As I attacked, my swing speed became faster and faster. My changes surprised Midori. The watching crowd exclaimed, "Faster and faster!" Even the cameras can barely capture our movements. However, I knew this speed still wasn't enough. I had to be faster. The next 10 seconds arrived. Midori bent down to dodge my attack, while extending a finger flick. A terrifying energy unleashed, directly hitting my chest. I was sent flying dozens of meters until I crashed into the teaching building, my entire body embedded within. I suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. Fantastic, fantastic. My opponent is the strongest awakener. If it were the old me, I would have died long ago. Although with my current strength, it's impossible to pass his test. It doesn't matter even so. I charged at Midori again. However, at this moment, Midori had already lost interest in me. Your performance disappoints me greatly. It should end now. Saying this, he delivered a heavy hand chop. My vision immediately became blurred. Your strength is indeed impressive, but that's only against ordinary people. You're still far from the level I want. I'm disappointed not to see that powerful force from last night. Midori was on the phone, turning to leave. Just then, a terrifying fluctuation came from behind. I stood up again, surrounded by powerful energy. It's not over yet. Now it's just beginning. Yellow-haired brat, I hope you can make this fun for me. One of the strongest awakeners of ancient times, Raichiro, and the acknowledged strongest of modern times, Midori, were about to engage in the ultimate battle between ancient and modern powers. Midori's eyes flashed with excitement. This was the battle he craved. Yes, this is it. That powerful aura from last night appears again, but why does he seem like a completely different person? Is it some kind of mysterious skill at work? Regardless, the person before me has transformed into a monster. Raichiro was angry at Midori's momentary distraction. He raised his sword and heavily struck down. Speed and power dramatically increased. Terrifying sword energy slashed through, creating a dangerous situation. The teaching building suffered as a result, and students scattered in all directions. Midori was puzzled by my transformation, not only because of my increased speed and power, but also because my originally clumsy swordsmanship now resembled that of a battle-hardened swordsman who could predict enemy movements. At this moment, my swordsmanship was as unpredictable as a raging torrent. With this level of skill, defeating S-rank monsters was indeed possible. 40 seconds had passed. Midori excitedly swung his hand blade, heavily striking down at Raichiro. However, Raichiro easily evaded, as if such attacks were merely a gentle breeze. Your attacks are too weak, Raichiro sneered. Then he launched a counterattack, with Midori leaping to dodge. Amazing! You're even stronger than I imagined! The watching students were stunned, unable to believe this scene. However, looking at Midori, Raichiro felt bored. Let go of your so-called rules and fight. You look pathetic when restrained. Let me see your true strength. Saying this, he charged forward again. As you wish. Midori then kicked pebbles at his feet toward the weapon pile. The next second, all weapons flew through the air, leaping high. Midori then grabbed the light bulb blade among them. Come on, let's continue. Saying this, he raised his blade and struck down. Flashing blades and sword shadows, the two fought 300 rounds in midair. At this moment, inside my body, other heroic spirits were all excitedly watching the excitement. Raichiro looks happy. How enviable. Unfortunately, using the brat's body as a medium, we still can't unleash our full power. Fighting like this, we might lose. At this moment, I watched the two of them fighting outside. My eyes focused, not daring to miss a single detail. Left attacks, right strikes, high picks, low slashes. I worked hard to imitate Reichiro's movements. I wanted to become stronger. At this moment, outside, under their continuous collisions, both weapons shattered. Damn it, my body is getting a bit out of control. Am I reaching my limit? Midori excitedly threw away the broken blade in his hand. He had finally found an opponent worth fighting. The future path would no longer be lonely. 10 seconds left. Raichiro glanced behind him. Over there. He then leaped toward the teaching building. The burly man on the second floor looked confused, not knowing why someone was coming his way. Raichiro quickly seized his long blade. Borrowing this, Midori followed closely behind, delivering a heavy punch toward the teaching building. The teaching building exploded again. Hopefully those innocent students were okay. Charging out from the smoke, the two resumed their fierce battle on the wall. The teaching building was riddled with holes. Midori grew more excited as he fought, fighting to the outside of the principal's office, wanting to use the fan blade from earlier as a weapon. Instantly, Raichiro sensed a change in his opponent's aura and felt crisis for the first time. The huge fan blade was raised high and heavily smashed down. Suddenly, a web of sword energy appeared. Raichiro's ultimate technique, dice roll, Instantly, the fan blade was cut into countless pieces. Midori looked at the scene in amazement, simply fantastic. Just as Reichiro was about to press his advantage, the long blade in his hand crumbled. Above Midori's energy-charged right hand, prepared to deliver the final blow to Reichiro. 59 seconds. At this moment, Reichiro in midair was powerless. Just as this massive energy attack was coming, I regained control of my body. I leaped high. In my eyes, movements became so slow and clear. My palm lightly brushed against his hand, and the attack was deflected. Both Reichiro and Midori looked at the scene in disbelief. As the price, my entire arm was ruined. But I still had my left hand. This was my final strike. With my remaining strength, I heavily struck toward Midori. True battles are collisions between the strong, constantly seeking opportunities to win through offense and defense. And opportunities often come in just an instant. In duels between the strong, there's usually not even a sliver of opening. Like a game of Go, airtight and impenetrable. But this kid actually grasped that moment. That tiny opportunity even I couldn't see. For him, it might be the first step on the path to becoming strong. What? Just when I thought I had victory in my grasp, something incredible happened. I saw Midori still maintaining his attacking stance with one hand, while his other hand managed to catch my thrown punch in that instant. Damn it, just a little bit more and it would have been over, but just when I completely gave up. Midori smiled slightly, holding my fist, and gently bringing it toward his face. Haha, congratulations, you passed. I was stunned. It could be done like this? After the shock, I collapsed from exhaustion. All the students in the school cheered at witnessing this historic moment. But some questioned how the eternal last place could actually hit the strongest Midori. When I woke up, I was surprised to find that it was Midori's companion Rin who was treating my injuries. You'd better not move yet. Your arm is badly injured, and also, congratulations on passing the test. Hearing this, I sat up in surprise. Passed? Did I really hit Midori? Forgetting so quickly? That's a bit harsh. Turns out Midori was right beside me, smiling. You did indeed pass. However, looking back, the one who could fight toe-to-toe with Midori was Reichiro. And only that final strike was mine, yet it was still easily blocked by Midori. At this moment, Midori said my final dodge was excellent. Am I being acknowledged? And what happens after passing this test? Didn't I tell you? Once you pass, I'll make you our companion. However, Rin beside us seemed dissatisfied with this outcome. Companion? I was completely confused at the moment. You didn't mention this before. Midori looked at the crowd in the school building, saying this wasn't a place to talk. Tonight I'll come to your house for a detailed discussion about our true enemy. I'm very curious about what choice you'll make then. That night, I lay on my bed thinking about Midori's words, our true enemy? Since the Demon Tower appeared, countless interdimensional monsters have flown out of it. Aren't our enemies those monsters? What else could there be besides them? While I was lost in thought, there was movement downstairs. Is it Midori? I immediately went downstairs to greet him. My heart skipped a beat, but what I saw was my mother collapse on the floor. What on earth is happening? I rushed toward my mother in panic. At this moment, I noticed a man sitting in our kitchen, eating the dinner my mother had worked all day to prepare. Who are you? What did you do to my mother? Nice to meet you. I'm Goro Haitani, an S-Class Awakener. I'm a companion of that guy Midori. Hurry up and pack your things, we're heading to the base immediately. But I didn't care what he said, angrily throwing a punch. The fierce strike hit nothing. Goro quietly appeared behind me. What's wrong with you? I don't like jokes, you know. Hearing his mocking words, looking at my mother lying on the entrance floor, I recalled bits and pieces from my childhood. My father left this world when I was young. My mother raised me alone through hardship. To celebrate my passing the exam, she specially prepared a lavish dinner tonight. I turned and glared at him. What did you do to my mother? And within the marked space, the heroic spirits of the progenitors all watched this scene. This is a modern S-Class Awakener, just right as an opponent for the kid. As our host, let us see how you handle this. Goro looked at my darkening expression with mockery. Guess what happened to her? Cute little one, are you angry? Saying this, he raised his hand blade to strike at me. I looked coldly, then raised my hand and gently caught it. I sidestepped, swinging my arm downward. Goro looked at himself in disbelief as he lost balance, then flew straight out the window. The heroic spirits in the mark space were also surprised by this scene. Isn't this my ultimate technique, the divine hand? I didn't expect this kid to learn it after seeing it just once. After coming outside the house, Goro flipped and stood up again. What just happened? Could it be Tai Chi? It felt like being thrown by my own force. The intel said this guy only knew swordsmanship and was very reckless. I walked barefoot from the rubble. Surrounded by powerful magical energy, I'll give you one more chance, answer my question. What exactly did you do to my mother? Oh my, I really like your expression now, I don't mind telling you. It's poison, extremely toxic and incurable. If you're lucky, you might still have a chance to leave last words, Kakeke. I want to know why you did this, aren't you Midori's companion? Are you an idiot? He is not my companion. And you'll just become our puppet. Someone as naive as you is easily caught by their weaknesses. Just then, he stepped on my foot. The next second, Goro swung a punch at my cheek. Although I managed to pull back in time, my cheek was still cut with a wound. Immediately, the wound was filled with toxins. Turns out Goro's nails were coated with deadly poison, called fantasy insect poison. In just 1 minute, the toxin would invade, and then even gods couldn't save you. At this moment, he told me the condition for getting the antidote was joining the organization, otherwise just go die. Having no choice, I could only speak to the marked space, the apothecary sovereign, Warrentine. Can you tell me the antidote method later? After hearing her affirmative answer. I wasn't worried about the current poison at all. Now the strongest progenitors live within my body. No matter what genre, they've all reached the pinnacle. So for me, there's no reason to fear him at all, seeing me still so calm, without a trace of fear facing death. Goro became extremely angry. I'll show you true terror. This strike's poison will make you wish you were dead. I quickly dodged to the side, and the trees behind me instantly withered. At this moment, I delivered a strike. Holy fist. A heroic spirit Takwong in the mark space was stunned. How is it my skill? Goro was sent flying into the wall by my punch. Next, I used the flash foot. Another heroic spirit Eilerson in the mark space was stunned. This is mine. Goro was kicked several meters away by me before slowly stopping. Under my combo attacks, Goro was retreating step by step. Driven to desperation, he put his hands together and used his final trump card on me. But this move was useless against me. I easily broke through his attack, striking directly at his abdomen, the beak, Carlyle's technique. Then I used Dragon Claw on Goro, attacking frantically, Rowan's technique, followed by the uprooter. Lilac's skill. With an upward throw, I violently hurled Goro into the air. I raised my finger, energy continuously gathering at the fingertip, crackling. The Mage of Truth. Go to hell. Molestius Silentius. Goro couldn't believe it now. Why is this happening? Why does my poison have no effect on him at all? The next second, brilliant light bloomed in the air. All the heroic spirits witnessed this miraculous scene. Everyone saw it, right? This kid was only possessed by us once, yet he learned all our skills. Is this the power of the Mark of the Void? So powerful, if we train him and he learns all our abilities, that would reach heights unprecedented for humanity. After defeating Goro, I returned home holding my poisoned mother. Meanwhile, on the other side, a group of black-clad figures were running across the city sky. The leader said, "Move quickly, make sure to complete the mission before Midori and his team arrive. The organization has already begun to act, we can't fall behind." Hello there. At this moment, Midori suddenly appeared behind him. "You're the last batch." Saying this, he extended his finger and delivered a brain flick. The leader met his maker in terror. After finishing up, Midori quickly called to ask about Rin's situation. And Rin had just arrived above my house. However, she was surprised to find she seemed to be too late. That S-Class Awakener had already been dealt with by me. Midori also rushed to my house, overjoyed to see me unharmed. He quickly asked if anyone was poisoned, as he could help with detoxification. But everything was fine already. My mother was now safe and sound, resting on the sofa, and Raichiro in the mark space complained, "How could it be fine?" If Warrentine hadn't quickly prepared the antidote just now, both of them would have met their maker. Turns out, after defeating the enemy, Warrentine immediately possessed my body, controlling me to extract serum from Goro. Seeing everything was resolved, Midori quickly apologized to me. Turns out my daytime battle video with Midori had spread, so I was targeted by many organizations. The reason Midori was late was because he was dealing with these organizational problems, and the S-Class Awakener on the ground wasn't Midori's companion at all, just someone trying to impersonate Midori's name to take me away. At this moment, Rin suddenly appeared, indicating the mission was complete. The previously damaged buildings from the battle had somehow been restored to new. "Then let's go inside and discuss business, about your future choices." "I disagree. That's too dangerous." Midori was trying to persuade my mother to let me become his companion and go train with him. But I was extremely excited, being able to become the strongest Awakener's companion. This meant getting one step closer to my dream. I've worked toward this since childhood. No matter how severely injured I got, I never changed. I can't guarantee his absolute safety, but you also want to see him after becoming stronger, right? Reaching heights no less than the progenitors, fulfilling his own dreams. After much persuasion, my mother finally agreed. The next day, I set off with my luggage. "Mom, I'm leaving. Take care of yourself, Mom. Remember to come back for New Year's." Instantly, a feeling of reluctance surged in my heart, tears almost spilling out. But when I was in the car and opened the lunchbox my mother made, I could no longer control myself. Tears kept flowing. The journey passed in silence. Soon we arrived in the mountains. We're here. This is a nationally recognized Awakener unit, the Counter Prophecy unit. I looked at the building before me in amazement. At this moment, a man on the second-floor window was staring down below, saying, "Another newcomer has arrived." The room gathered 5 people, all seeming to have different thoughts about the newcomer. 2 women showed indifference toward the newcomer, while the blonde seemed happy to have a new companion, and the red-haired man walked to the window. Companion? Then let me personally verify whether he has the qualifications. I was carrying my luggage, just getting out of the car, when suddenly a figure appeared in the air. "Hold on." I urgently blocked. "Not bad, you can take my strike head on. Seems you're somewhat interesting after all." After saying this, he jumped back. Landing steadily, "Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Hikotaro. I'm a member of the prophecy organization, and we're in the same batch." I looked at this person in front of me, completely confused, while Midori stood beside us, appreciating this battle. The next second, Hikotaro attacked me again. "By the way, what did you mean by same batch just now? You don't know yet? Then I'll explain while we fight." First, about the establishment of the counter-prophecy unit. You're really going to explain while fighting? Isn't this good? Saves time, by the way. What's your name? Minato Kanaragi. Then Minato, let me tell you, do you know what Awakener's job is? Isn't it to eliminate monsters that rush out from space rifts? Correct, but do you know what else there is besides that? The Pandemonium incident 10 years ago. The Great Disaster in Kyushu 5 years ago. Do you know what caused them? Wasn't it caused by large rifts? Right, that's what you could know in Training Academy. But that's just the facade announced to the public. The truth is, these were all invasion actions from other dimensions. Hundreds of years ago, the Demon Tower suddenly appeared. It was the first invasion from another dimension. And until now, those behind it continue to probe our world. The reason is unknown, but today's Awakeners are much weaker than those from the Tower era. Awakeners with abilities comparable to our ancestors are extremely rare, so to resist interdimensional invasion, the counter-prophecy unit was created. Those with prophetic abilities, whenever they discover disaster appearing again, the chosen ones must step forward to resolve the crisis. And we are the chosen ones. From today on, you're also one of us. Being able to continuously block my flying kicks, you're the first among our batch. Welcome to the counter-prophecy unit. Just like that, after this inexplicable battle, I gained his recognition. The other batch members were standing on the rooftop witnessing what just happened, but the next second they suddenly disappeared. Seems they won't acknowledge you without personal verification. Hikotaro enthusiastically led me to the dormitory. That night, I sat on my bed thinking about Hikotaro's words from the day. Can I really defeat the mastermind behind the other dimension? An uneasiness shrouded my heart. Don't overthink it. The heroic spirit suddenly appeared before me. All you can do now is keep getting stronger. We've discussed it and decided to train you into humanity's strongest awakener. Whether it's that Midori, or we initial awakeners. None of us have the qualifications to become humanity's strongest awakener. But you can, as the disciple of all US initial awakeners. I felt very surprised. Previously, they clearly just wanted my body. Why did they all change their minds now? That's because your body is only one. To obtain it, we'd have to eliminate the others. No one can guarantee victory in such a great battle. But seeing your fight with the S-Class Poison King, you could actually use all our ultimate techniques one by one. Although lacking in power and precision, the basic skills were already formed. Though I don't know if it's the effect of the Mark of the Void. But we can be certain that your talent is absorption, an ability stronger than anyone else's. So we changed our minds. Compared to obtaining the body, training you would be more interesting. Listening to Reikiro's words, tears unknowingly spilled from my eyes. For 3 years, I was considered a worthless waste with no talent. No one ever held hope for me. There was only bullying and mockery. Even my name was never remembered. I thought such a me had no future. However, first Midori acknowledged my strength. Now the initial heroic spirits say I have the qualifications to become the strongest awakener. Can I really? In my life, having such happy things happen, is this real? The seniors I admired have such high expectations for me. Years of grievances flowed out like spring water as tears. Just like that, I became the disciple of the initial awakeners. Learning from Reikiro that within my void mark, time and space become very illusory. Especially when I'm asleep, the use of space-time is freer than in reality. From now on, I must train while sleeping, and train 100 hours daily in the void mark. My training begins. Please take care of me, teachers. The next day, I got up early and ran into Hikotaro, who was also washing up. Seeing my listless appearance, he joked, "Did you not sleep well last night?" However, when he looked at me carefully, he was surprised to find my aura had changed today, magical power swirling around me. The next second, Hikotaro flew a kick at me, but I just bent slightly and easily dodged. "I'm hungry. I'll go to the cafeteria first," saying this I left. Leaving Hikotaro confused, his kick just now was faster than yesterday's. Yet I dodged it even more easily. Arriving at the cafeteria, Hikataro led me to sit across from a long-haired girl. When I could see her face clearly, I realized, isn't this one of those who were watching from the rooftop yesterday? She seemed very unfriendly toward me, completely ignoring my self-introduction. Newcomer, I don't plan to remember your name. If I acknowledge you, naturally I'll call your name. Now I've received a prophecy mission. If you have the guts, follow me. In the vast river of history, humanity accidentally discovered an ancient prophecy tome known as the Book of Doom. This is the earliest prophecy book humanity has found. Though the handwriting appears immature, it details in record the major disasters the world will face over the next 80 years. Each prophecy, if it comes true, will bring destructive damage to the world. In 1945, when humanity ventured deep into Antarctica, 3,000 meters beneath the thick ice, this mysterious book saw daylight again. When explorer Barnard Russell opened the pages, the first line caught his eye. Hello Barnard, March 17, 1945, 11:35 a.m., sunny weather. Explorer Barnard discovers the Book of Doom. This discovery shocked the world. Humanity decided to believe in the prophecies within the book. The moon's far side, cosmic giant tree, aggressive pathogens. Each prophecy hangs like the sword of Damocles over humanity's head. To prevent these disasters from occurring, humanity established specialized counter-prophecy organizations to collect and analyze every clue. The disasters in the prophecies are divided into 4 levels. Level 3, destruction of one or more places. Level 2, large-scale disasters affecting one country or continent. Level 1, drastic changes affecting the global scope. Special level, confirmed to be able to destroy the world's great extinction, specifically referring to prophecies in the Book of Doom. Invited by the long-haired girl, Hikataro and I joined this prophecy mission. The 3-person team quickly arrived at the destination. In the center of the street, a medium-scale space rift had opened. We 3 walked straight toward the space rift. Kisaragi saw us coming and quickly tried to stop us, saying it's dangerous here. Civilians, please leave immediately. Today's prophecy is level 3. The space rift is medium-scale, estimated to be B-class. According to the prophecy in the level 3 book, The Anthology of Golden Poetry, the rift will keep getting bigger. The next second, the rift really expanded much larger, and many A-class werewolves walked out. Kisaragi immediately assumed battle stance, throwing a punch toward the monsters. However, there were too many, and the many awakeners present were still no match. Only Kisaragi remained, struggling to hold them back. And from the space rift came even more terrifying auras. Just when Kisaragi was troubled by this, he saw us 3 walking toward the center of the battlefield. The long-haired girl gently raised her hand. Trismegistus. She touched the ground with her hand, Mercurius, instantly piercing through several werewolves. Hikataro also followed suit, using slide, kicking one werewolf at a time. Their strength was so powerful that even Kisaragi, an S-class awakener, was shocked. At this moment, compared to Kisaragi, this S-class awakener seemed more like an ordinary person. The evil aura from the space rift grew stronger. A terrifying monster was about to emerge from the rift. Everyone was shocked. It was actually an S-class or higher monster, Beastman Renel, level S+. Hikataro and the long-haired girl immediately launched attacks. However, their attacks had no effect. It seems ordinary physical attacks can hardly damage this monster. At the same time, the monster attacked in the long-haired girl's direction. Just as she was about to condense mercury for defense, I immediately stood in front of her, using my palm to block the monster's charge. Then a powerful force emanated from my palm, penetrating into the monster's body, followed by a violent explosion. Everyone was dumbfounded seeing this scene. Defeating a super S-class monster with one strike, Hikataro was also shocked. Sure enough, this morning wasn't an illusion. Minato became stronger in just one night. I felt the changes in my body. This is the result of last night's Holy Fist training, penetrating the outer defense to destroy from within. I looked happily at the girl behind me. Now can you tell me your name? She smiled. Akane Shinomiya. Next. We quickly cleared the monsters around the space rift. After finishing, the 2 of them skillfully stood at the rift. Minato were planning to go in. Kisaragi on the side, hearing this, was frightened. Inside the rift is another dimension. Please be rational. However, I didn't hesitate and ran straight toward the rift. As we 3 entered, Kisaragi was dumbfounded. For him, he simply didn't have the courage to step into a space rift. Could they be the legendary secret organization? We came to the space rift. Inside, there were countless werewolves attacking us, and Akane was already skilled at fighting these werewolves. Just one strike of 10,000 arrows was enough to instantly kill them all. Hikataro and I were relaxing and watching from behind. Just then, a bear appeared in front of Akane. Hikataro immediately stepped forward to help block. When the bear was about to attack him, he jumped up, easily toying with this clumsy bear, then delivered a series of leg kick combos. After a gorgeous combo, he didn't forget to strike a cool pose. I saw the opportunity, imitating Hikataro's attack, giving the bear another identical combo. Teasing Hikitaro, is this how it's done? Soon we dealt with a small fry along the way, and arrived at the deepest part of the rift space. Suddenly we felt tremendous pressure approaching. A massive figure descended from above, letting out an angry roar. Boss, blind minotaur, level S+++. Akane fearlessly immediately launched an attack. Trismegistus. An alchemical magic circle appeared beneath the minotaur's feet. Eldorado. Instantly countless golden treasures flew out from it. Akane continuously consumed magical power, suppressing the minotaur. Seeing this gorgeous output, Hikitaro immediately understood, just about to step forward to deliver a fatal blow to the minotaur. However, I in the back could see clearly. Akane's attacks had no effect on the minotaur. When they looked at me in confusion, the minotaur moved. Seeing this scene, both couldn't believe it. The minotaur stood before them completely unharmed. At this moment, the alchemist Killick appeared behind me. What a pity, such excellent talent. That girl, at such a young age, can achieve such heights in alchemy. It's just that the method is wrong. This boss has 100% physical resistance. Minato, lend me your body. Let me demonstrate real alchemy for that girl. Then Killick came to Akane's side, condensing a large amount of mercury. Mercurius. Instantly, the minotaur's lower body was wrapped in mercury. Seeing this scene, Akane was amazed. How do you know alchemy? And what are you doing? Physical attacks are ineffective against that monster. Foolish one, your alchemy is still too young. Matter has 3 states. What can cause damage isn't necessarily just solid state. For example, boil. The minotaur's body turned red, spitting out large amounts of scalding mercury from its mouth, accompanied by large amounts of steam blowing over. Just like that, a super boss was actually boiled to death. My first mission was completed so smoothly. The level 3 prophecy recorded in the Anthology of Golden Poetry was successfully prevented. This mission also came to a successful conclusion. Defeating the blind minotaur, achieved. My series of attacks left Akane feeling incredible. She also acknowledged my strength because of this. After leaving the space rift, we were about to return and submit our report, leaving everyone with a cool silhouette, earning admiration. Soon we returned to the Counter-Prophecy Organization headquarters. When we came to Research Room Conference Room 3, opening the door, we were stunned, discovering someone was already there. It was the red-haired guy from our batch, the one who stood in the middle initially. Since everyone's here, let's all listen together. Then Director Kurihara opened the footage sent by the analysis team. The footage showed only a red-hot burning object. This is actually a prophecy book. It was discovered in a burnt volcanic belt and had been shelved until now. Using X-ray and AI's latest technology, part of the content has been deciphered, including a prophecy about our country. Hearing this, everyone was shocked, as it had been a long time since any new prophecies were discovered. Since all official members are out, I'd like to ask you 4 to help investigate. Detailed information has been sent to your emails. Please depart immediately. So we took on this special mission regarding this prophecy information and mission level unknown. The main task was just investigation. If any unexpected situations arise, please ensure your own safety and must wait for official members to arrive before taking action. Since the destination was quite far, everyone basically fell asleep in the car. Only Akane held on, but finally couldn't resist the drowsiness from her body and soon fell asleep. However, when she woke up again, she was the only one left in the car. Akane angrily ran down and scolded everyone. You people, why didn't you wake me up when we arrived? Look ahead. Only then did Akane react. Everyone's reaction was strange. She quickly looked forward. A giant magical circle formed by the character for Demon was covering this area above. We're still too late. The prophecy has already occurred. According to the data description, the bones in these crystal pillars should be those 23 villagers. This prophecy is very similar to the old apartment disappearance incident in Wakayama Prefecture 30 years ago. That prophecy almost opened an interdimensional passage. Just then, the purple crystal began to act strangely. While those 2 cowards were hesitating about what to do, the red-haired guy immediately stepped forward, saying he would stop it. This completely ignored the director's warning. Suddenly, a powerful magical force erupted from behind them. That's right, it was me. In front of genius, it seems you can't even speak without some strength. I think it's feasible. Let me stop this crisis. The other 3 didn't expect a newcomer like me to say such a thing. I hope you don't become a burden. Follow me. After saying this, the red-haired guy jumped down. Just like that, the newcomer team reached consensus and followed one after another. And in the mark space, the progenitors, seeing the outside situation, sighed. This aura, so nostalgic, the scent of forbidden arts. The scene changed to under the beautiful moonlight, in front of a tombstone. A hand broke through the earth. An ancient man just wrote the character for Demon with blood, and revived himself in modern society. Legend says that long ago, there was an awakener who was the chief of sorcerers at the time, Shijima Bando. However, He massacred large numbers of civilians during peaceful times and was finally defeated by an awakener who was an Onmyoji. During his escape, he came to a village and slaughtered the entire village. Although I failed someday, I will be revived again, rule this world, and become the demon king who devours all life. He used a magic circle carved with blood, sacrificing all life in the ritual array to resurrect into the present world. The four of us as newcomers originally came just to investigate this prophecy. But we didn't expect the situation on site to be so dire, so we took it upon ourselves to go and stop it. Boss Shijima Bando, level unknown. Shijima stood under the moonlight, getting familiar with his newly resurrected body. His power hasn't fully recovered yet. It seems that the number of sacrifices is not enough. Just then, the four of us charged from behind, each using our special techniques against Shijima. However, for him, this was perfect timing. Looks like my food has arrived. The next second, Shijima swung his arm, instantly teleporting out of our attack range. At the same time, a magic circle appeared beneath our feet. We were instantly surrounded by a terrifying explosion wave. After the smoke cleared, fortunately everyone was mostly unharmed. But I noticed something was wrong. I immediately warned the two in the air. Watch out for the magic circle beneath your feet. But it was too late. Countless bloody hands were wrapping around them, making them unable to move. Just when Shijima thought he had victory in his grasp, he sensed something unusual. I launched a surprise attack to his side. After a series of combos, I doubted my own eyes. He had blocked my lightning strike with just one finger. Just then, the red-haired guy saw his chance. Using his sword technique, Marigold Blast, countless blades stabbed toward Shijima from all directions. Unfortunately, he easily dodged them all. You don't think that's enough to defeat me, do you? I never thought an attack of this level could take you down. The next second, the red-haired guy raised his long sword, stabbing heavily into the ground. Sword technique, autumn thistles, then more sword rain attacked. However, Shijima showed no fear at this strike. Nothing but flashy moves. The next second, Shijima charged straight at the red-haired guy. Looks like you're the strongest among them. I watched the two fight from the side, not knowing what to do. Shijima gave me the same unfathomable feeling as Midori and Reichiro. Just then, Akane and Hikataro also burst into full power. The bloody hands around them were shaken off one by one. The two immediately rushed to help. Bothersome pests. Shijima simply waved his arm backward lightly. 3 different colored magic circles appeared in front of them. Then 3 ravenous bone spirits appeared. Akane and Hikataro wanted to finish them off in one strike. However, even with their full power attacks, they were completely unharmed. These guys are actually the same level as the blind Minotaur. The green bone spirit came in front of me. Am I being underestimated here? Shijima taunted. Now no one can help you. Hearing this, the red-haired guy seemed provoked. He slashed out with his blade, blood splattered, leaving deep wounds on Shijima's body. Is help necessary? I've always been a lone wolf. I alone am enough to handle all kinds of monsters. The only thing you can rely on in this world is your own strength. Shijima looked at the wounds on his body, very much agreeing with the red-haired guy's words. No need for companions at all, just devour them all. After saying this, Shijima instantly became even more frenzied, madly attacking the red-haired guy. Just as the red-haired guy was being pushed back step by step, I came running. Shijima saw my arrival and couldn't believe it. The god-slaying spirit he summoned only had its lower half standing in place. The next second, my fist arrived too. I gave him a powerful strike. Shijima was sent flying by me, retreating several meters. I stood beside the red-haired guy, deciding to face this enemy together with him. You can't defeat him alone. The red-haired guy looked at me woodenly. Companions? And Hikataro and Akane were both entangled by the bone spirits, unable to break free for a while. Now only the red-haired guy and I can work together against this boss. Let's join forces and defeat him together. However, the lone wolf red-haired guy flatly refused. My battles don't need help from others. I'll defeat that guy by myself. Just as I was about to ask why, Shijima was already attacking, one dark magic orb in each hand aimed at us. The red-haired guy immediately swung his blade to cut off his arm and jumped back to avoid the attack. But I wasn't so lucky, taking the energy blast head-on, and was sent flying. Shijima immediately caught his severed hand in midair and reattached it, fighting intensely with the red-haired guy again. As for me who was sent flying, I left deep marks on the ground, until I crashed into a tree and finally stopped. I slowly regained consciousness. My hands were badly injured from that strike. Fortunately, it was only a momentary loss of consciousness. When I woke up, I was already in the mark space. On the other side, the red-haired guy and Shijima were fighting intensely. The red-haired guy was clearly at a disadvantage. This is dangerous if it continues. The red-haired guy's blade that can cut through anything was now being blocked by Shijima's hand. Shijima suddenly burst into loud laughter. All of you become my food. The next second, Shijima raised his hand toward the red-haired guy's sword arm and slashed down. Facing such an intense battle scene, I couldn't help but feel terrified. At this moment, Raichiro Molestius appeared. The opponent is a very powerful sorcerer, actually able to use such precise, forbidden resurrection magic. If he were in a big city with plenty of sacrifices, this guy could really appear in the human world as a demon king. So we must stop him here. Let one of us take over your body. This time, let us defeat him. No, this isn't training, this is real battle. I can't always rely on you. I have to face it myself, right? Do you remember the promise from back then? I will definitely surpass all of you. After hearing my words, Raichiro laughed heartily. Go ahead, do what you think is right. Let us see the results of your training. Yes, master. I won't let you down. After saying this, I rushed toward the battlefield at high speed. On the battlefield, the red-haired guy was being beaten back step by step, struggling to block Shijima's blade strikes. The next second, the red-haired guy was sent flying high. Shijima seized the opportunity, gathering a dark orb in both hands and aiming. The red-haired guy's arms in midair had lost sensation. His long sword flew out of his hands. Is the end for me? Just as the red-haired guy was about to give up, I caught the long sword with one hand. Let me borrow this blade. Leave the rest to me. The red-haired guy watched as I took his weapon. He lost his balance and fell back to the ground. At this moment, Shijima's attack had also finished charging, firing toward me. I leaped high, one sword style. I slashed down at Shijima with all my strength. Shijima's arm was severed again. He stared at me in shock. Just who are you? My name is Minato Kanagi, the man who will become the strongest awakened one. The two progenitors watched me from the side. Do you think Minato can defeat that sorcerer? I don't know. He's not a reckless person. Even when sleeping, he seizes every opportunity to train. On the battlefield, Shijima's severed hand had already reattached. Our confrontation officially began. The red-haired guy watching the battle was shocked by my transformation, remembering the previous words. His feelings about companions were quietly beginning to change. Vibrating feet. I didn't expect you'd know so much. After an explosion, debris flew everywhere. I immediately used the skills I learned in the mark space, foot technique, mirror light reflection. I instantly appeared behind Shijima. Shijima was startled. I slashed at Shijima's head with a reverse strike, but unfortunately he still dodged. Shijima only got a scratch on his cheek. When I attacked again, I had missed my timing. My attack was deflected by his wave. The next second, a huge magic circle appeared beneath my feet. Violent magical energy blasted forth. I flew out of the smoke, immediately adjusting my stance. I believe that as long as I can flexibly use the skills my masters taught me in battle, I can definitely win. I leaped up, then quickly rushed toward Shijima, fiercely slashing at Shijima. Shijima looked at the wounds on his hands in disbelief. Swordsmanship, martial arts, magic, footwork. Shijima realized, is there anything this brat can't do? Although none of them have reached mastery level, they're all used very skillfully, as if all skills have merged into one. The heroic spirits were all shocked watching this scene. Didn't expect the kid to grow so fast. But this alone isn't enough to defeat this sorcerer. Let's have some real fun. Forbidden spell. The next second, the entire area was engulfed in flames. Akane sensed danger from above. While jumping away, a huge bone crashed down. Everyone looked up in surprise. A giant skeleton flesh decay suddenly appeared before them, and Shijima stood with hands clasped on top of the skull. We've had such fun, but this is where it ends. The next second, the giant skeleton's hand came down to slap me. The heroic spirit, seeing this scene, hurriedly called for me to run. Is it still not enough? The current me is still not strong enough. But I'm not willing to give up. Suddenly I remembered Molestius's teachings in my mind. Learning magic requires gradual progression, starting with basic magic, fire, and the swordsmanship Raichiro taught emphasizes one decisive cut. At the moment of swinging the sword, forget all confusion and fear. At this moment, my left hand was burning with the magic fire Molestius taught me. My right hand gripped the swordsmanship Raichiro taught me. My hands slowly drew closer. The next second, a miracle happened. The long sword in my hand burst into roaring flames. Seeing this scene, both Molestius and Raichiro were in disbelief. I raised the flaming long sword. Go to hell, Shijima! After saying this, I slashed down. Shimmering slash. Just like that, Shijima was split in half. Don't come back again. Killick in the mark space was extremely excited seeing the scene. I see, this is so interesting. Minato's abnormality lies in being able to use skills from all systems and switch between them at will. Now he can actually use two abilities simultaneously and fuse them, creating his own unique skills. In other words, there might be even more new skills in the future. After hearing Killick's analysis, Raichiro was overjoyed. Your future is full of possibilities, Minato. Back on the battlefield, I had used up my last bit of strength. I could collapse at any moment. I thought the battle was over, but just then, blood bubbles kept emerging from Shijima's severed limbs. Soon the severed lower half miraculously regenerated. That was really dangerous just now. If it had hit my head, I would have really died. Saying this, he condensed a dark orb in his hands. I looked at this scene in despair. Just as Shijima was about to fire, a sword light slashed across his neck. Sword technique, wild camellias. The red-haired guy slashed across with one strike. Shijima looked at his flying head in disbelief. Didn't expect it would be you? Before he could finish speaking, the red-haired guy knew the importance of finishing the job, immediately chopping Shijima into pieces. In Shijima's final moments of life, he saw this scene. The red-haired guy sliding over, steadily catching me as I was about to fall. This scene reminded Shijima of the past. On a cold winter day, under a bridge, the starving and freezing Shijima held his dying brother in his arms. "Brother, hold on, there will be food soon." But his brother still passed away. Above the bridge was like heaven with singing and dancing, below the bridge was like hell on earth. From then on, only Shijima was left alone. In his final moment of disappearing, he suddenly felt that although being alone was easy, it was so lonely. Just like that, the once strongest sorcerer completely vanished. Hikitaro and Akane ran over at this time, asking about our injuries. "Everyone's alive, that's so good." Just then, something strange happened. Cracks appeared in the barrier in the sky. The entire barrier would collapse from within, generating enough energy to swallow the entire town. Except for me, who had already passed out, the other three simultaneously assumed attack positions, planning to use their strongest attacks the moment the barrier shattered, hoping to weaken the impact. At this time, my body moved. I raised my long sword high, gathering my strength. Actually, it was Raichiro controlling my body again. "Minato, well done. Leave the rest to me." The next second, the barrier completely shattered. A terrifying energy rushed straight at the four of us. At the same time, not far outside the barrier, three men were rushing toward here. Seeing the barrier completely shattered, all three stopped. "Looks like we're too late." Just then, a blue energy shot up into the sky. Raichiro's full power strike broke through the barrier's energy. The three men looked at this scene in disbelief. What incredible sword energy. The newcomers were official team members who came for rescue, captain of the Suo unit, Makoto Suo. At this time, Midori was sitting on a plane making a phone call. A prophecy of unknown level was actually broken by newcomers. That's really amazing. On the other end of the phone was the captain of the Suo team who had gone to provide support earlier, Makoto Suo. At this moment, he was standing in front of a headless giant dragon, as if he had just finished a battle. Final level determination is grade 2, but the potential danger still exists. I think it's equivalent to a grade 1 prophecy. Midori on the plane was overjoyed after hearing this. In places we can't see, everyone is quietly growing. Also, the one who made the biggest contribution to this prophecy mission was Minato Kanagi, who just joined less than 2 days ago. "I heard you brought him. I want to ask you, who is he?" Hearing this, Midori smiled slightly. "The one who will end all prophecies. Maybe he's the existence we've been waiting for." The captain of the Suo team on the other end was surprised. "Do you have such high expectations for him? If you don't mind, why don't you go confirm it yourself? Come back quickly, I feel so bored now. Without you, we really can't settle our score." Midori burst into laughter after hearing this. However, at this moment, an untimely voice came through the headset. Target appeared. A huge figure appeared right in front of the plane. Emergency grade prophecy, when the sun goes dark. Boss spreader of deadly plague Ixtab. At this moment, the monster's eyes suddenly opened wide. A terrifying pressure covered the entire sky. However, Midori remained calm while making his phone call. "Makoto, I'm going to be busy here." Saying this, he condensed a blue spiral orb in his hand. This was Midori's special technique, turbulence. The scene changed, and I woke up from unconsciousness. I found myself lying on a hospital bed. From the staff nearby, I learned. This was the medical room of the Counter Prophecy organization, and I had been unconscious for several days. Just as I hadn't come to my senses yet. I noticed the red-haired guy sitting across from me. "You weren't sitting here watching me the whole time, were you? Where are Hikitaro and Akane?" From the red-haired guy, I learned that since returning from the mission, they had been staying in the training room, seemingly very frustrated with their performance during the mission. Just then, the red-haired guy asked the question he most wanted to ask. "Who exactly are you?" Whether it was slaying the giant skeleton in the end, or dispersing the barrier explosion energy, your power was overwhelming. Just joined for 2 days and consecutively defeated the boss of a grade 3 prophecy and potential grade 1 prophecy. And the variety of skills. The most exaggerated was the final fusion. I've never heard of anything like it. How can I be like you? The red-haired guy seemed to really want to become as strong as me. However, at this moment, Captain Suo suddenly burst in. The red-haired guy looked at the person entering in great surprise. "Brother, why are you here?" However, Captain Suo had no intention of acknowledging his younger brother, walking straight past the red-haired guy, coming to my hospital bed. I was still wondering how the visitor was actually the red-haired guy's brother when a flash of sword light passed. Captain Suo suddenly launched an attack at me. Fortunately, I dodged in time, jumping to the ceiling behind. I seriously inquired, "What are you doing? This isn't an attack that an ordinary trainee could avoid." "You pass." Hearing this, I was completely confused. At this time, the other party said with a serious face, "I am Makoto Suo, captain of the counter-prophecy organization's Suo team, Minato Kanagi. Due to your outstanding performance, I'm having you temporarily join my squad." Hearing this, I didn't have much of a reaction yet. However, the red-haired guy was in disbelief. Even I haven't gotten my brother's recognition yet. Now Minato is being personally invited by my brother. The red-haired guy stood there dejectedly, motionless, seeming to hold a grudge against me in his heart, while I followed Captain Suo out with a confused expression. At the training ground, Hikotaro and Akane were frantically sparring. The floor was covered with weapons forged by Akane using alchemy. Damn it, we couldn't help it all back then. Just then, a figure appeared at the door. Not bad, training so hard. Midori seemed like he had just returned from vacation, bringing lots of souvenirs to share with everyone. Mr. Midori. However, a roar blew all the souvenirs away. Seeing Midori return, the two immediately ran over, making Midori completely confused. I was only gone for a week. However, Hikotaro and Akane said with serious faces, "We want to become stronger. We never want to lose to Minato Kanagi again." Looking at the two with serious expressions, Midori was deeply moved. These children were throwing childish tantrums just a few days ago. Didn't expect that in the blink of an eye they would ignite each other's flames. Then he happily agreed to their request. At this time, another person came to the door. "Let me join too, please." Hikotaro and Akane learned from the red-haired guy that I had already joined the Suo squad and become an official member. Both were very surprised, and Midori seemed to think of something. This seems like the suggestion I gave to Makoto. At this moment, I was following behind Captain Suo, learning from him that there would be a mission tomorrow, and we'd have to leave early in the morning. Suddenly, Captain Suo stopped and called out to me. "Minato Kanagi, are you close with Shinji?" This question stumped me. We've only known each other for 2 days, our relationship only improved a bit during the battle with Shijima. I caught his sword, and he stayed by my bedside until I woke up. This should count as a good relationship, right? After hearing my answer, he only replied faintly, "Is that so?" At the same time, in 2 different spaces, Shinji was thinking, "Brother doesn't care about me at all. I'm really worried about Shinji." Just now, he only glanced at me. Just now, because I couldn't bear to see the pain on Shinji. To make my brother notice me, I can only desperately become stronger. Regardless of how strong or weak you are, I just hope you stay safe. Hearing Captain Suo's concern for Shinji, I couldn't help but sigh. You brothers have such a good relationship. And Captain Suo proudly responded, "Of course. I'll defeat my brother someday. My younger brother is my most important family member." I was still thinking wishfully that they really had a good brotherly relationship. Within the counter-prophecy organization, there are several official combat teams. Following the principle of elite minorities, they're fixed at minimum 7-person squads, competing with each other in direct combat, with the ultimate winner being crowned the strongest. On the plane, Takaru of the Suo team was introducing me to the combat power of our team. Captain Suo accounts for 90%, so don't try to show off just because you're temporarily joining. Just leave everything to Captain Suo. While I listened to my senior's teachings, I kept texting Hikotaro and the others. Takaru was furious seeing me like this, but he didn't know how important these messages were. On the other side, Akane and Shinji, who received the messages, were livid. Only Hikotaro remained relatively calm. Midori curiously leaned over. He saw the phone screen showing, "Advice for Getting Stronger, Hikotaro Edition. Advice for Getting Stronger, Akane Edition. Advice for Getting Stronger, Shinji Edition." Midori curiously browsed through the specific methods inside. This is detailed guidance tailored to each person's abilities and habits. Even I am impressed. Midori turned to the 3, "You've really received an incredible gift. Whether to follow it or not is up to you to decide." However, although very angry and frustrated, all 3 decided to train according to the suggestions above. Just you wait, Minato Kanagi. On the plane, I was very grateful for my master's help. All the messages were finally sent. Soon we arrived at our mission destination, a snow-covered mountain that was frozen over. This prophecy mission is Grade 1, Snowball Earth. This disaster will cause the ground to continuously freeze, with the frozen area expanding exponentially. If left unchecked, in the near future, the entire Earth will be frozen. This kind of disaster is happening simultaneously all over the world, even causing great commotion in some countries' cities. Deputy Captain Monakashi sighed. "It's expanding faster than reported. Looks like we need to hurry. This is the limit of how close the helicopter can get." We jumped down from the rear cabin. Never bring disaster to the village. Please remember the 3 principles of the Suo team. 1. Speed is paramount. 2. Never let up the offensive. 3. Turn the tide when at a disadvantage. I stood quietly at the back, recalling the battle with Shijima. In the end, I still relied on Reichiro's power to escape danger. This temporary team entry is an excellent opportunity to learn from official team members. This time, I must complete the mission with my own strength. I jumped down with them like this. However, this mission would become a setback I'd never forget for the rest of my life. At this time, the Suo team members came to the prophecy site. This place was already completely covered by ice and snow. The current temperature is minus 37 degrees Celsius, even lower than reported. I was puzzled and asked Takeru, is this global freezing prophecy also recorded in the prophecy book? No, this is a prophecy perceived by someone with prophecy sensing skills. Although this kind of thing happens quite often, this is the first time it's been classified as a grade 1 prophecy. At this time, the deputy captain came over. Very nervous? Don't worry too much. Although this is your first time dealing with a grade 1 prophecy, believe in yourself. That's right, relax. The counter-prophecy organization has 8 official squads in our country, and the Suo team ranks first in grade 1 prophecy completion numbers. Seeing Takeru's shameless manner, the deputy captain immediately shouted, you can't be too relaxed either. You still need to maintain proper vigilance. Just then, Takeru's aura changed. He discovered enemies on his radar. Only then did I notice that Takeru's fingertips were actually connected to several golden energy threads. Monsters at 2 o'clock direction, 200 meters from us. The next second, the deputy captain sprang into action, disappearing in front of me instantly. Soon he reappeared next to the captain. Large numbers of monsters found at Takeru's designated location. Estimated grade S, plus approximately 30% in number. After hearing the deputy captain's intelligence, Captain Suo immediately ordered, all members, sweep and clear. The next second, all other team members charged. I watched as both sides engaged in battle. I was amazed watching all this. Whether it was intelligence gathering or combat strength against monsters, these people were all first-class official team members. I suddenly wanted to join them in battle. After getting the captain's permission, I immediately entered combat mode. I kicked toward a monster. One kick shattered the monster. After I dealt with the monster in front of me, I suddenly noticed something seemed wrong on the other side. I heard the deputy captain shout, watch out for that one. There's a powerful monster mixed in among them. I made a quick decision and used my fusion technique again, shimmering slash. When the monster realized the danger, it was too late to dodge. It was instantly cut in half by me. Takeru looked back at me in surprise. The deputy captain also cast an approving look. Not bad, kid. As for Captain Suo, he simply swung his sword lightly a few times, instantly eliminating the remaining monsters. I see this is the talent that Midori favors? At night, everyone temporarily rested in an ice shelter. How is it, Takeru? Did you find anything? Unfortunately, no boss traces found within at least a 10-kilometer radius. Looks like we can only spend the night here and continue searching tomorrow. At this moment, I was sitting alone by the campfire outside, wanting to take this opportunity to try and see if I could learn new fusion techniques. One hand wrapped in lightning power, the other hand condensing water elemental power. Combining the two, just then, a voice came from behind. You're really enthusiastic about training. This nearly scared me to death. The captain's arrival made me pause my training. We started chatting about everyday things. This is my first time camping outdoors. It feels amazing. I'm the opposite of you. I really want to go home. I miss my cats. I feel uncomfortable all over if I don't pet cats for a day. The captain's words shocked me. I never imagined such a powerful person like Captain Suo would like soft cats. After mentioning cats, Captain Suo seemed like a different person. He sat over with his phone, starting to introduce me to his cats. Its name is Sushi. Every day it makes a mess of the house. And it's very tsundere, often refusing to let me hold it. Just like Shinji. Very cute, right? Being with it makes one feel relaxed and happy. If only I could get along with Shinji like this. Since I'm an only child, I don't really understand brotherly affection, since he's your brother. Why don't you just care more about him? Brothers need more contact to promote their relationship. You're right. Such a simple principle, and I didn't even understand it. Just then, the deputy captain found us. Why are you two still here? You need to rest quickly. We have to get up early tomorrow to complete the mission. Just like that, we spent a peaceful night. However, at the same time, at the foot of the snowy mountain, a mysterious man was walking in the snow. He was spotted by security personnel patrolling nearby. This mountain is very dangerous now. Going in now will get you killed. Are you an awakened one? Are you here to complete a mission? The mysterious man simply responded indifferently, indeed here to complete a mission. However, not to prevent the prophecy from happening, but to make the prophecy come true. The man was seen holding a blue prophecy book in his hands. Just like that, a mysterious awakened one entered the same mountain. This is a very important mission. At this time, I was receiving guidance from my master Mulgith in the marked space. It's been almost 2 hours and the target still hasn't surfaced. At this moment, I was already covered in sweat. Eliminate distractions, concentrate. Thinking of the strength of the Suo team members, right now I just want to become stronger. As the arrow shot out, hitting the target directly. Success! After a night of training, I finally hit it. The next day, we prepared to continue searching for the boss. We must complete the mission today. Through Takeru's ability guidance, we quickly discovered large numbers of monsters. Although we all successfully dealt with them, there's always been an uneasy feeling. Just then, Takeru discovered huge energy rapidly approaching, very likely the boss. The next second, a giant humanoid monster appeared before us. Boss Carmedes, the secret god, grade unknown. The Suo squad immediately sprang into action. Takeru used golden threads to bind the boss's arms together. The deputy captain struck the monster's ankle with a powerful slash. The other team members immediately unleashed their respective skills on the boss. However, after the bombardment, the boss remained completely unharmed. At that moment, I leaped high into the air and used my strongest fusion skill, Shimmering Slash. What was hard for me to believe was, my attack had no effect whatsoever, and what awaited me was the boss's fierce strike. Takeru asked, "Minato, are you okay?" I replied, "The boss is too strong, I almost died just now. Everyone stand back, leave this to me." Seeing this, everyone retreated. Takeru quickly dragged me away from the battlefield. Only Captain Suo remained standing alone before the boss. The boss raised both long swords and swung them fiercely at Captain Suo. After the dust settled, Captain Suo stood unharmed, looking coldly at his opponent. "You are indeed strong, but unfortunately you've encountered me." With that, the boss took the initiative to attack, but was blocked by Captain Suo's raised sword. Then Captain Suo counterattacked, striking forcefully at the boss. After one strike, the boss's arms were completely severed. "If possible, I hope my team members can gain experience from defeating bosses like you." Captain Suo immediately deployed a barrier. Captain Suo assumed his stance, flames soaring skyward. Instantly, the surroundings were covered in flames. Red light blast. Captain Suo unleashed his full power. The flames rushed straight toward the boss. The boss was thus sliced in half. I watched this scene in shock. This looks like my flame sword, but much stronger than mine. Is this Captain Suo's true power? Unfortunately, this is where it ends. Captain Suo then delivered a finishing blow, cutting the boss in half at the waist. We cheered at this sight, we had won. However, the next second, the captain's arm disappeared. What's happening? Turning to look behind, I saw a circular hole appear in the barrier, and a hole of the same size appeared in Takeru's chest. I watched this scene in terror. The other team members were also attacked and fell one by one. What on earth is happening? I rushed forward to help the falling Takeru, but seeing this, he cursed. "You fool," using his last strength to push me away. The next second, the unknown attack pierced through Takeru again. How could this happen? Damn it. My radar shows no reaction at all. "Captain, the enemy's position is..." Takeru slowly fell. His body gradually grew cold, blood staining the snow red. However, the attacks didn't stop, more teammates fell. Bastard, how could this happen? Everyone get down, find cover. This is a skill attack. Looking at the cold corpses on the ground, Captain Suo's face was grim. The pain of his severed hand was nothing compared to his current rage. Even the barrier couldn't defend against the attack. This must be the opponent's skill characteristic. Anything it touches gets eliminated. Moreover, judging by the attack direction, it should be in this position. However, right after Captain Suo left, the boss that had been cut in half actually regenerated. The vice captain saw this and immediately pulled himself together. "I'll handle this guy." But at this moment, I knelt on the ground with no will to fight, looking at my fallen comrades before me. The apothecary sovereign, Warrantine, could you please heal everyone? I'm sorry, no matter what skill, it's impossible to revive the dead. Please, there must be a way. Reikiro saw my current state. I was unable to continue fighting. Leave the rest to me, Minato. The next second, Reikiro took over my body. My aura instantly changed. On Captain Suo's side, he was sprinting toward a direction. Takeru's radar coverage was a 3-kilometer radius. That means the enemy is outside this range, and my arm and Takeru's body were hit by the same attack simultaneously, which means the enemy is on the same straight line, at full acceleration. Captain Suo soon spotted the target not far away. A mysterious man stood quietly in the snow with his hands in his pockets. Seeing the man, Captain Suo thought of his fallen teammates. "I will never forgive you." Red light blast. A massive flame rushed straight at the mysterious man. A black orb appeared. Both the slash and flames were actually eliminated. "I didn't expect you to find me so quickly, truly worthy of being the strongest Captain Suo. If your left arm were still there, that would really be troublesome." "Now just die," the man said as all the dark orbs around him burst forth. Rushing straight at Captain Suo, Captain Suo swung his sword upward forcefully, sending the snow on the ground flying high, blocking the man's view. The next second, he appeared behind the man. "You're the one who should die." Then he swung down fiercely at the man's neck. However, unexpectedly, not only did his sword break, but his body was also hit by the opponent's dark orb. "Captain Suo, you were too careless. It seems I'm one step closer to success." He felt in pain and fell to his knees. Cursing, damn it. He attacked the man again, but the man kicked Captain Suo's wound. How boring. Is that so? The next second, Captain Suo struck the man's chest directly with his sword hilt. "You sniped us earlier but stopped attacking after just a few shots." A skill that can eliminate almost everything. It can't be fired limitlessly. You must also need to consume a lot of energy. Do you really think so? Even if you guessed right, your disadvantage won't change. Disadvantage? We of the Suo team have never feared being at a disadvantage. We only get stronger in battle. Then Captain Suo ignited blazing flames. The arm that was constantly bleeding was cauterized to stop the bleeding. Imperial Crimson Dragon Self-Destructive Flame Blast. Don't underestimate our Suo team. You're planning to burn your life force? Then come on. The scene shifts back to the boss. The ancestors in the mark space took over my body. The vice captain was surprised to notice that the aura around me suddenly changed. He seemed to sense something. I slowly stood up, quietly looking into the distance. The enemy is over there. Then I flew past the vice captain at high speed. With just one strike, I kicked the newly revived boss to pieces. At this moment, it was Eilerson controlling my body. The vice captain and other teammates looked at me in disbelief, but I paid them no attention, walking straight toward the distance. How dare you bully our disciple? Leave the rest to us. On the other battlefield, both sides were engaged in fierce combat. Captain Suo raised his sword, using his sword technique Flames of Fury against the man. Several flame sword energies flew out. The man quickly crouched to dodge. The sword energy flew over his head, striking the stone pillar behind. This is troublesome, even if I use dark orbs to eliminate the flame slashes. The moment they pass through, the flame slashes will regenerate. Then I can only fight desperately. The next moment, the man threw out 2 dark orbs. Captain Suo quickly dodged to the side. While advancing forward, got you. Captain Suo caught the man's opening and cut off his right hand with one strike. It seems the tide has turned. The man didn't feel pain but laughed instead. Is that so? Do you really think that? He then kicked Captain Suo's wound heavily. Blood splattered. The pain from the wound almost made Captain Suo faint. Do you still think the tide has turned? Don't forget you have a bloody hole in your stomach. Sacrificing one arm doesn't greatly affect my strategy. So you failed. Actually, your failure was destined from the beginning. The man then pulled out a prophecy book from his backpack. This book can prove it. Captain Suo was shocked to see the prophecy book. How do you have a prophecy book? If there's a prophecy defense organization that tries to stop and destroy the fulfillment of prophecies, then there will be a realization organization that wants prophecies to become reality. I'm one of the 12 disciples of the apocalypse, the Dim Tolf, come to personally realize the fulfillment of this prophecy. Captain Suo was puzzled. Why do you want to fulfill destructive prophecies? Would you give up trying to stop this prophecy if I told you? Just as Tolf let his guard down, Captain Suo suddenly burst forth, delivering a fatal strike at Tolf. The sword light sliced across Tolf's neck, blood continuously spurting out. Captain Suo looked at his opponent and said, "It seems I've won." However, the fatally wounded Tolf laughed. "Let's end the game here." He then pulled out a bottle from his pocket. The moment the bottle was opened, a massive light enveloped Tolf. The blinding golden light prevented Captain Suo from seeing what was happening. But in the next moment, a fist came flying at him. Captain Suo was knocked flying. Tolf stood before him completely unharmed. Even his severed and burned right arm had recovered. How is this possible? This is an artifact, an important treasure left from the Tower era. If my opponent wasn't you, I really wouldn't want to use it. Tolf attacked Captain Suo again. Captain Suo quickly swung his sword to block. However, for the fully recovered Tolf, such attacks were completely useless. Tolf frantically punched Captain Suo. This ends here. He then kicked Captain Suo's wound heavily again. Blood splattered everywhere. Captain Suo completely lost the ability to resist, lying in the snow. Have you finally fallen? No, I can't fall yet. Not yet. I haven't yet. My family. My cute brother Shinji. And that narcissistic Midori. And my best companions. I still have many important things left unfinished. And my most beloved Sushi. I want to entrust him to my most beloved brother's care. I haven't done that yet. I can't fall yet. Captain Suo gritted his teeth and used his last strength to ignite the flame of life. However, the next second brought only despair. His sword-wielding right hand was pierced by a dark orb. He didn't even have a chance to resist. Farewell, Captain Suo, just as Tolf was about to launch his attack. The ice mountain behind suddenly split in half. Countless ice blocks and debris flew everywhere. A figure emerged from within. You're the one who made our disciple cry, aren't you? Use your life to apologize to him. I walked toward Tolf step by step with incomparable presence. He looked at me in surprise. The boy before me gives me a very bad feeling. Then I can only choose the optimal solution. Don't move. If you move again, I'll kill Captain Suo. But before he finished speaking, Tolf's arm was severed by me. He looked at this scene in disbelief. I clearly never took my eyes off him. Yet my arm was severed. Too fast, I didn't even have a chance to react. The long sword I just used has bent and deformed. Ordinary weapons won't work after all. The alchemist Killick sighed. Your power is too astonishing. He slowly extended his hand, energy radiating around him. The supreme alchemy Trismegistus. A mercury tornado appeared before us. Various weapons were generated from within. I'll provide your weapons. Go ahead and fight to your heart's content. During this time, Tolf's arm had already regenerated. Raichiro was surprised to see this. Molestius said, "That's reversal. I don't think modern awakeners can use skills of this level. He probably used the artifact's power. IT automatically heals you, either until the time limit runs out or until you use the skill a certain number of times." The next second, an arrow hit Tolf right in the forehead. However, the wound visibly healed. It seems it's true that arrow was Mulsith's test, so what's the countermeasure? Molestius coldly said, "Keep killing, he'll die eventually." Tolf was somewhat afraid now, quickly using dark orbs to form a wall in front of himself. But I paid no attention, drawing my bow again. The arrows passed through the gaps in the dark orbs. One hit the right eye, the other two hit the chest. All three hit so powerful. With gaps of this size, I could hit them with my eyes closed. Tolf's wounds healed again, damn it. He then controlled the dark orbs to attack me. At this moment, Takwong immediately took over my body, dodging the attacks with just a few sidesteps. Takwong used superior footwork to instantly reach Tolf. I grabbed his right hand, kicked toward his chin, then pulled his about-to-fall body back, punching him hard in the face. Then came countless punches. Your skill can eliminate objects on contact. It's a good long-range firing ability. Too bad it's too slow, very easy to dodge. He then struck his chest forcefully. Tolf was sent flying heavily. Eilerson looked at the flying direction. That's probably the 100th death. I didn't pay attention to Tolf, walking to Captain Suo. Captain Suo looked at me puzzled. "Are you Minato Kanagi?" The apothecary sovereign Warrantine simply replied, "No." Then extended her hand, using life stasis on Captain Suo. Golden energy enveloped his body. "We are the first awakeners. Later generations call us the progenitors. Ancient souls dwelling within Minato Kanagi's body. The enemy isn't dealt with yet, so I'll leave first." Then she disappeared. The knocked-away Tolf had recovered again, but mentally and physically shaken, he had lost his composure. That boy is simply a monster. I need to think carefully about what to do. Before Tolf could react, a spear struck his heart directly, piercing through his entire body. Kalkus showed no mercy, opening with his ultimate technique, the Azure Death Spear. Tolf's agonized screams echoed through heaven and earth. He didn't even have time to think. Kalkus asked the apothecary sovereign, "If the spear stays in his heart like this, will he keep dying?" But the answer was no. Tolf's body automatically separated the spear before he could steady himself. The next wave of attacks came. I continued attacking him. If I tear him into pieces, I wonder which part he'll regenerate from. The answer came quickly. Only a severed hand remained of Tolf as he began regenerating. Soon he was completely restored, the moment he recovered. Tolf immediately ran toward the distance. "This guy isn't human at all. I just need to kill Captain Suo and then flee immediately." However, when he returned to the previous location, he was shocked. Before Captain Suo, I sat there holding a broken sword. "You're a bit slow." I then stood up. "Let's continue then." Then I swung my sword at him. A sword net instantly formed, rushing straight at Tolf. Tolf couldn't react in time, and was cut into countless pieces by the sword net. This was the first time he felt despair. Tolf had dedicated his life to the fulfillment of prophecy, but this time he might really die. Like being targeted by a massive shark with no escape. How long had it been since Tolf felt such terror? Fear arose in his heart, but his hand still reached into his backpack. He pulled out a bottle filled with golden powder. Raichiro immediately swung out a sword beam, directly severing the arm holding the bottle, but it was still too late. The golden powder from the bottle scattered in the air with the wind. Artifact Sand Cage of Time. A massive cage trapped me within. At this moment, Tolf's regeneration time had just ended, seeing me trapped. He was extremely excited. "Great, I almost died." He didn't care that his severed hand couldn't recover. Obviously, this artifact's function is imprisonment. This seems troublesome. Rest assured, inside, even my dark orbs can't destroy this cage. The outcome is decided. As long as I deal with Captain Suo, I'll win. Raichiro at this moment paid him no attention, calling to the rear. "Hey, you can see clearly, right? Makoto Suo." At this moment, Captain Suo behind him had already stood up. Hearing this, Tolf broke into a cold sweat, turning to look behind. Let's continue round 2. Time goes to young Makoto Suo's childhood. Midori sighed. "It's truly unbelievable. In swordsmanship alone, no matter what I do, I can't win. You might be a genius like me, but you also need to find a master suited to yourself." So Makoto Suo followed Midori's advice, searching everywhere for a master who could teach him. However, without exception, all ended in failure. "Sorry, I can't match you. You've already surpassed me, go find another master." You've made me recognize my own insignificance once again. Each master gave up the idea of making Makoto Suo stronger after just 1 month. Until one day, Makoto Suo met a man. He said, "I know the strongest swordsman. It's my sister, Ichika Hinoki." So I became her disciple, dedicating myself to studying swordsmanship. Master, what is this sword technique? Makoto Suo held an ancient manual and asked Ichika Hinoki. The book clearly read Sublime Perfection, a non-physical combat technique. This sword technique has been lost, I can't do it either. It's said to be the unique technique of the founding master Reichiro Hinoki. Makoto Suo gazed seriously at the portrait in the book, slowly reciting, Founding Master Reichiro Hinoki. Days passed one by one. Well then, Makoto, after 3 years of study, I have nothing more to teach you. Ichika Hinoki said solemnly, I entrust the Hinoki-style sword technique to you. I hope you can develop it further. Master, how should I become stronger in the future? Ichika Hinoki sighed lightly. Makoto, you have excellent talent, like a flower bud that has been tempered but not yet bloomed. You need to study other schools, continue fighting. Most people wither before they can bloom in their lifetime. But I firmly believe your moment of blooming will come. And now, the time has come. Seeing the moment when Reichiro Hinoki swung his sword, Makoto Suo seemed to feel a wonderful sensation. Perhaps this happens only once in a lifetime. Makoto Suo didn't want to miss this rare opportunity. Master, thank you, I finally understand what to do. Now is this moment. Captain Suo raised his severed arms as if invisible hands held an invisible sword. Red energy emanated from his entire body. I watched this scene with deep concern. At the same time, at the Anti-Prophecy Headquarters training ground, Midori seemed to sense something, quickly turning to look into the distance. The next second, an explosion sound came. Midori had disappeared from the spot. Only a huge round hole remained in the wall. Tolf looked at Captain Suo with complete confusion, his bewilderment spreading. As a swordsman, having lost both arms, what could he still do? Even so, a voice deep in his heart kept telling him that this strike would definitely be delivered. At this time, Reichiro told me, Minato, watch carefully. The true blooming of a person's flower happens only in an instant. Some people bloom during their physical prime. Some when their martial skills reach their limit. Others when they gain truth. And for Captain Suo, it's this moment. Watch closely, you must remember this forever. As I looked carefully, I was surprised to discover. Behind Captain Suo, a flower bud faintly appeared. Important memories kept surfacing in his mind. Captain Suo raised his arms. The next moment, the flower of life bloomed. Hinoki-style sword technique, non-physical combat technique, sublime perfection. Instantly, Tolf was split in half. Even the dark orb's defense was useless. What on earth is happening? The next second, Tolf died completely. He won, but this strike also exhausted all of Captain Suo's life force. He then lost consciousness and fell. The sky feels so oppressive. Is this heaven? In the last moment of his life, having reached the highest realm of swordsmanship, Makoto Suo was also satisfied. Captain Suo closed his eyes, thinking of his family. That annoying Midori, and the companions he'd walked with. Simply constantly growing stronger, he'd finally reached the end. I'm sorry, my dear brother, Shinji. Please forgive your brother, I must go. At this moment, a figure approached. I didn't expect it would be you. I came before Captain Suo, smiling as I extended my right hand. Captain Suo's initial confusion turned into an understanding smile. So that's how it is. Death is not the end. I'll leave everything to you from now on. As the artifact cage shattered, I frantically rushed toward Captain Suo. Captain Suo, I shouted. But at this moment I had exhausted all my strength, falling straight into the snow, tears forming in my eyes. Just as Captain Suo was about to fall, a ray of light cut through the sky. Midori was flying rapidly toward us, anxiously shouting, Makoto! He quickly descended and supported Captain Suo. Midori looked at Makoto in disbelief. I'm sorry, I'm too late. Makoto Suo, aged 23, died in battle against Tolf. This was Makoto's final moment in life. Brother, Sushi is so cute, let me hold him too. Makoto gently replied, Sure. This is a sad story, no one could accept this outcome. The scene shifts to Midori's memory. In the training ground, Makoto Suo was practicing with his sword. Midori approached. Makoto, how did you become captain? Makoto Suo turned to look at Midori questioningly. What's wrong? In the Anti-Prophecy organization, your strength is second only to mine. When serious, you're unstoppable. Wouldn't it be better to fight alone? I'm not like you, going so far yet only being alone. I like the days with my companions. When they're injured and fall, giving them help and emotional support, making them feel every time they see me that our meeting is a kind of happiness. Captain, Kazushiro passed the second-level swordsmanship exam. Kazushiro said happily, Now I can be useful too, I'm so happy, so I immediately came to report to the captain, pulling back from memory to reality before coming here. I saw your companions, 2 people survived. Rest in peace, you fulfilled your responsibilities and duties as captain. At this moment, Midori was already in tears. His old friend died in his arms. Even though I'm already the strongest awakener, what does that matter? I can't save anything. At this moment, I still lay quietly in the snow. While in the marked space, I knelt alone in a corner. The progenitors watched from afar. No one came to disturb. It's getting so dark here. That's natural. because this space reflects Minato's current mood. All the progenitors understood, whether companions, family, or the departure of disciples, they had all experienced it. Watching comrades who fought side by side die one by one, their hearts were broken. Most people encountering such things would bury their hearts deep and never recover. Should I not fight? My heart feels like it's about to tear apart. Master Raichiro, if I had left everything to you from the beginning, maybe no one would have died. As a vessel, should I just train my body and leave all fighting to you? But at that moment, the instant I shook hands with Captain Suo, my hand was as hot as flames. I looked up at Raichiro. Suddenly I understood. Captain Suo trusted me. So he finally handed it all over to me. He trusted me. I don't want to betray this trust. At this moment I had unprecedented determination. I will surpass the progenitor someday. This is no joke. Even if it's just a minute or second faster, I must quickly surpass everyone. The next moment, golden light appeared in the pitch-black night sky. As the light continued to expand, a massive energy poured down from within, enveloping everyone. Instantly, the surrounding darkness was dispelled. I raised my fist and swore, no one will die again from now on. At this time, a helicopter flew from the distance. Below were our grim-faced selves. Although this prophecy was successfully prevented, the cost was too great. Everyone's faces were filled with sadness. Finally, someone just said, "Let's go home. Mr. Midori, everyone has been contained, ready to depart at any time." At this moment, Midori's face was grim. He picked up his phone and said, "You go ahead, I'll return alone." Thus, Midori made his phone call, watching the helicopter depart. "Rin, I have some bad news. Makoto is dead. The enemy is the 12 disciples of the Apocalypse. Quickly investigate their locations." "I'm going on a killing spree." Then Midori disappeared. He didn't even attend Captain Suo's funeral. This incident left deep scars on everyone, especially the captain's brother, Shinji Suo. He remained motionless before his brother's portrait for a very, very long time. The day after the funeral, I met him. His face had already lost its former innocence, as if he had grown up all at once. He held his brother's belongings and a cute fat cat. "You must be Sushi, just as cute as the captain said." Shinji was a bit surprised to hear my words. "Even you know about the cat my brother raised? Why am I the only one who knew nothing?" Until just now, when I went to clean up my brother's room, I realized how much my brother loved this cat, seeing his favorite books, his favorite clothes, his favorite food, and his sticky notes recording every Suo team member's growth. I used to think my brother never cared about my growth, until I saw his diary. The first page read, "Diary entrusted to Shinji." The contents weren't particularly special, mostly about daily training and missions. However, at the end of each diary entry, he would add a sentence. January 12th, the weather suddenly turned cold. Did Shinji wear enough clothes? March 7th, Shinji passed the qualification exam. So happy. May 17th, Shinji doesn't seem to get along well with his companions. What should I do? July 19th, the watermelon you brought was delicious. I wish Shinji could taste it too. October 1st, Shinji was assigned to an unknown level reconnaissance mission. I believe you'll return safely. Faintly, I seemed to see my brother sitting there, writing his overflowing love for his brother. But now it's empty. Seeing this, Shinji painfully collapsed to the ground. Tears flowed uncontrollably. Why is it all about me? I'm sorry, brother. Seeing Shinji like this, I comforted him. The captain once told me he was very worried about his brother. If possible, he hoped they could get along like he did with Sushi. At this moment, Shinji's heart quietly changed. I want to become stronger, much stronger. Let brother in heaven see, you don't need to worry about me anymore. So Shinji and I went to the mountains to find Captain Suo's master, Ichika Hinoki. Upon learning that her disciple had died in battle, Ichika Hinoki's heart shuddered. The world seemed to stop. But the next second, she returned to her cold expression. We hoped to train here for a while, and so we stayed. A month later, two familiar figures were constantly fighting in a river. Shinji suddenly closed in, raising his fist to strike me fiercely, but I blocked them all. I seized the opportunity, continuously gathering power in my right hand, then struck Shinji heavily. Unexpectedly, this strike was actually taken head-on. Only the massive splash behind him showed the power of this strike. While I was still surprised by his strong defense, Shinji's attack came. Fortunately, I reacted in time. My left hand grabbed his incoming right hand. Using his force against him, I directly threw Shinji into the air. However, Shinji could maintain balance even when his body was off balance, naturally kicking at me fiercely with his feet. Luckily, I kept something in reserve. I raised my right hand, blocking the attack. Then I quickly jumped up, preparing to deliver the final kick. At this moment, a shout came, "That's enough." Hearing the voice, we immediately separated, standing straight on the water surface, ready to receive Ichika Hinoki's evaluation. Both of you did very well, especially Shinji. A month ago when you came here, you were no match for Minato at all. Now you're fighting evenly, great progress. She then used her foot to pick up a wooden stick from the ground. Next, let me show you my swordsmanship. As an astonishing aura rose from her entire body, she slowly walked toward us. Let's begin then. Late at night, in El City of E Country, a man leisurely strolled down the street. When he entered a small alley, he stopped. This was none other than Kato, one of the 12 disciples. Kato looked at the person blocking his path and spoke. "You finally found me, Mr. Midori." At this moment, Midori had lost his usual smile. "Tell me the locations of your other companions and your organization's headquarters. Say one more word of nonsense and you die." However, the opponent didn't seem to intend to cooperate, taking out weapons and preparing for battle. "I really want to test how big the gap is between me and you." Seeing this, Midori's energy flared around him. Then go die. The originally quiet and tidy alley suddenly emitted blue light, accompanied by the splashing of blood. Afterwards, only Midori walked out alone, coming before the waiting team members. "Target has been eliminated. This is the prophecy book from his body." After saying this, he turned and left. 5 books of the Apocalypse prophecy books have now been collected. 7 people remain. The scene shifts to the anti-prophecy organization's top-secret meeting place, Aigenin. An old grandmother is grinding tea leaves. This person is the commander of the anti-prophecy organization. Her name is Iyo. At this moment, 2 commander assistants, Tengen Shinonome and Shiki Kitamori, suddenly came to visit, placing 5 books in front of the commander. These are the 5 prophecy books that Midori obtained from the 12 disciples of the Apocalypse. This should have originally been 1 volume, but they divided it into 12 books. Midori is currently pursuing the remaining 7 books. The commander picked up one of the books and flipped through it. Eliminating enemies and collecting prophecy books is not a problem in itself, but his behavior is too autocratic. "Did Makoto Suo's death hit him that hard?" Shiki inquired. "Then how should we handle this?" The commander smiled slightly. "Don't worry about him for now. No matter what we say, he won't listen right now. When he returns, have that child come to me for tea. Now that the Suo unit has been disbanded, we need to fill that team's vacancy. Shiki, Tengen, you 2 are responsible for creating a new team." At this moment, somewhere in the Imperial capital, a massive demon army was gathering. Grade 2 prophecy dissenters bossed the Daybreak Infidels. The team responding to this prophecy was the Hibiki unit. However, the Hibiki unit members seemed to be struggling against these demons. There are too many, and each one is harder to deal with than the last. At this moment, Captain Hibiki also recognized this problem, saying to the temporary team member behind her, "Can you handle this?" This person was the long-absent Akane. "No problem, let me try." She gently raised her hand. Trismegistus. A huge mercury sphere appeared before her, and other members quickly retreated upon seeing this. The next second, all the mercury rushed toward the demon army. As Akane activated her ability again, gas, the mercury instantly turned into gas, permeating throughout the army. But it wasn't over yet. Next was liquid. Large amounts of mercury turned back into liquid, wrapping around the demons' heads. Then came incineration. The demons let out painful screams as they were tortured by the scalding mercury. That's enough. Finally, solid. The flowing liquid instantly solidified, then continuously grew spikes. In just an instant, like a chain reaction, all the demons were pierced by mercury spikes. The Hibiki unit members looked at this scene in amazement. "The new girl is pretty strong. Our Hibiki unit was just lacking a group attack skill." Akane coolly snapped her fingers. The demons instantly turned to ash. "Captain, I'm done." Captain Hibiki walked over admiringly. "Akane is truly amazing. It would be such a waste for you to just be a temporary member. After your training ends, would you consider joining my team?" Akane said happily, "I'm so glad to have your recognition." Hearing this, everyone thought the team was about to gain a lovely new companion. Captain Hibiki also smiled foolishly. "If Akane joins, I'll be able to coast from now on." However, after Akane left, she immediately called Minato. "I've now completely mastered the 3 states of matter. Hurry and send me the materials for the next course." At this time, I was eating breakfast while playing with sushi. Killick in the marked space learned that Akane had mastered the 3 states of matter and successfully completed the 7th course, feeling very pleased. So he happily took out the 8th course book from the bookshelf behind him. While waiting, Akane suddenly asked, "What course has that guy Hikutaro completed?" At the same time, in Q Prefecture, a Grade 2 prophecy was occurring. Grade 2 prophecy, dirt-eating mythical creature. Boss, voracious sphinx. However, the next second, it was kicked to pieces by someone. 8th course flash kick, beak stab, successfully mastered. Captain of the Todoroki, Unit Koichiro Todoroki saw the boss defeated and excitedly said, "Excellent work, Hikutaro! Please be sure to join our team." Hikutaro seemed very popular in this team, but he appeared to be hesitating about which team to choose. Meanwhile, when Akane received the 8th course materials, she was extremely excited. "I won't lose to any of you. By the way, Minato, do you know about the rumor of creating a brand new unit? To fill the vacancy of the Suo unit, they need to create a new team, and the captain will be selected from members who have achieved significant results." Hearing this, I didn't think much of it. This doesn't seem to have anything to do with me. However, Akane's next words made my jaw drop. I discussed it with Hikataro before. We want to create a team together, called the Kanagi Unit, with Captain Minato Kanagi. Kanagi Unit? What are you talking about? Hearing Akane's proposal, my jaw dropped. Why would you ask me? Akane said, I joined the anti-prophecy organization with a cherished wish to eliminate all prophecy disasters in this world. I will never allow past tragedies to happen again, so I must join such a team. A captain not only needs powerful strength, but also the ability to help team members grow stronger together. I think you have that qualification. Otherwise, I'll be recruited by Captain Hibiki. Think about it carefully. After hanging up, I sat alone on a rock, thinking. Shinji curiously looked over. What's that guy doing? Shinji explained the whole situation after seeing this. Captain, wouldn't it be good to become such a person? I also think that guy is quite suitable. However, I was still very conflicted at this moment, not knowing if I had the ability to become a captain. Molestius in the marked space turned to look behind him. Won't anyone come out and give some advice? However, a group of martial artists were also blank about such matters. What should we say? For martial arts training, I've already given my all. I have no experience with leadership either. I don't know what to do at all. Molestius looked helpless and sighed. What an unreliable group of masters. Speaking of which, you are too. At this time, Reichiro turned and shouted behind him. Isn't this supposed to be your specialty? Come out and give the kid some advice. Mover of hosts, Ryan. A progenitor holding bamboo scrolls and a brush walked out from behind. It's not time yet. And there's already a very suitable candidate on the scene. Back outside, while I was still conflicted, a wooden stick was thrust straight into the boulder beneath me. It was Ichika Hinoki who saw me like this, with a look of concern in her eyes. She slowly walked toward me. If you're still troubled, then come train. Focus on practicing your footwork. Hearing this, I quickly grabbed my wooden sword and jumped down, then activated my footwork technique, ripple travel, standing steadily on the water surface. Very good, you've mastered it quickly. How did you do it? Generally, even a genius would need half a year to reach this level. However, she didn't know that I was a cheater. Every night in the marked space, I had master's guidance. Just then, Ichika Hinoki suddenly launched an attack at me. A sword light swept over my head. As the sword light collided, it created a huge splash behind me. When fighting, don't think about unnecessary things, or you'll die miserably. I immediately assumed a battle stance, not daring to relax at all. In the marked space, Reichiro seriously watched what was happening outside. Is she the suitable candidate? Molestius responded. Among modern awakened ones, she's already quite powerful. Worthy of being your descendant, I don't have children. It should be from my brother's lineage. She is the legitimate successor of my school in this generation. Ichika Hinoki then used Hinoki-style sword technique. Snake crawl. A purple sword light like a crawling snake attacked me. I narrowly dodged it. Master Ichika, you do this for real? Immediately after, Ichika Hinoki launched another attack, Purgatory Blade. Countless sword chi surrounded me from all directions, ultimately forming a huge sword chi cage. Reichiro was amazed seeing this scene, a technique I've never seen before. Did she create this herself? How interesting. You run pretty fast, Minato. Ichika Hinoki stood on the just-destroyed mountaintop, praising. This is a new sword technique I developed. You actually dodged it. I know you learned Hinoki-style sword technique before. Though I don't know where you learned it, it seems to be all the founding master's techniques. My heart jumped when I heard this. Also, let me guess what you're troubled about. You're wondering if you can become a captain like Makoto Suo. Of course, because I saw with my own eyes how amazing Captain Suo was. Can I become such a captain? There's no need to do that. With Ichika Hinoki's loud shout, watch carefully, Hinoki-style sword technique Soaring Tengu, a huge water tornado rose from the water surface. This is all my skills. Later successors all developed based on the founding master's techniques. We can hardly reach the founding master's level. That's a different dimensional existence. Even so, we still try our best to catch up, even pioneering new schools, rising to meet difficulties. I don't know what kind of leader Makoto was, but he was certainly a great captain. You can't be as strong as him from the start, but as long as your conviction remains, you'll achieve it someday. Tell me, do you have such determination? I suddenly felt awakened. Right, I might not be able to do what Captain Suo did, but I'll find every way to keep getting closer. And also, I was entrusted by Captain Suo. How can I disappoint this trust? That's how it should be. Come, let me feel your determination. This is my current conviction. As our attacks collided together, enormous energy erupted. 2 weeks later at the Anti-Prophecy Organization base, 2 captains were reviewing the new captain candidate list. Tengen told them, these are basically personnel recommended by the captains and us. This time, there seems to be an interesting little guy. Minato Kanagi, 17 years old, currently still a trainee, joined the organization only 2 months ago. Completed missions, Grade 3 Prophecy Anthology of Golden Poetry, Grade 2 Prophecy Book of Inferno. Grade 1 Prophecy Snowball Earth. Recommender, Special Agent Ichika Hinoki. At this moment, in a corner outside the window, a black shadow stood under a dark tree making a phone call, successfully infiltrated. I heard the new captain assessment is in 3 days. Boss, just watch. I will definitely become this new captain. The black shadow's whole body glowed green, revealing a sinister smile. He was Eva, member of the 12 Disciples of the Apocalypse. Half of the 12 disciples had already been killed by Midori. To get revenge, Eva, one of the 12 disciples, used his unique skill Amanojiaku to transform into killed targets and replace them, successfully infiltrating the anti-prophecy organization. His purpose was to stand out in this selection, become the new captain, and thus collapse the anti-prophecy organization from within. Midori Ichihara, although defeating you, this monster is impossible. What we can do is collapse the anti-prophecy organization from the inside, and make that prophecy come true. 3 days later, at the anti-prophecy organization's large training ground, new captain candidates and their recommenders gathered here. However, only my recommender Ichika Hinoki was still absent. The person in charge this time was Tengen Shinonom. He introduced, the captain selection begins now. The exam consists of 4 parts, scored according to each part's results. First place gets 3 points, second place gets 2 points, third place gets 1 point. Other rankings don't count. Finally, the one with the highest overall score becomes the captain of the new unit. Everyone must give their all, take it seriously, and work hard. Yes, sir! The 8 contestants and their recommenders behind them responded in unison. So this is the new captain selection? It feels like countless eyes are watching. I feel uncomfortable all over. That person is the newcomer that Midori brought back, right? Something feels strange about him, said Haruki Koki of Yaguruma unit. Wanting to become captain after joining only 2 months ago is ridiculous, said Seishiro Asahina of Yorozuya unit. Doesn't that mean he's still a trainee now? That's amazing, said Kuromo Sonobe of Yushima unit. What kind of person could rank here after just 2 months, said Soa Hisagi of Makabe unit. He survived a grade 1 prophecy, and his recommender is Ichika Hinoki. Very interesting, said Isuke Sakazaki of Tsurusaki unit. I heard he also guides his peers, said Unshikami of Todoroki unit. So he's Akane's instructor? Seems hard to get along with, thought Kaname Irio of Hibiki unit. I stood there nervously. Why do all the others have captains with them while behind me is empty? I just received a message from Master Ichika, just 2 simple lines. One said she overslept, and the other said if I got eliminated before she arrived, she'd throw me into a volcano. Thinking of that inhuman training method, I still feel scared remembering it. Master Ichika would definitely do what she says. At least until she arrives, I definitely can't be eliminated early. Then, the exam officially begins. At the same time, on the other side, Shinji was running quickly through the forest. With someone standing on his back, the overslept Master Ichika. Faster, or we'll miss Minato's competition. Is this also part of training? If we're in a hurry, your speed should be faster than mine, right? Stop dawdling. You know that's your future captain. Back at the training ground, the first magic power test had already begun. As I activated my magic power, everyone was amazed by my massive magical energy. Magic power test, Minato Kanagi, first place. Even the measuring device couldn't withstand his magic power. Seishiro Asahina of Yorozuya unit exclaimed in amazement. His magic power ranked 5th. Isuke confidently adjusted his glasses. What a surprise, he's a specialty. Isuke ranked 3rd. Kuromo nearby was puzzled by this term. Kuromo of Yushima unit ranked 2nd. A specialty is when someone occasionally has either physical ability or magic power that's exceptionally outstanding, a super genius. Someone like him is N. Except he's a genius in another aspect. N Shikami of Todoroki unit, magic power ranked 7th. After the first test ended, the scoreboard appeared. Next was the second test, hand-to-hand combat. Freely choose opponents, both sides must agree. Whoever defeats the opponent gets 2 points. After hearing the rules, N immediately raised his hand. My chosen opponent is Minato Kanagi. They say among the official members, the strongest in hand-to-hand combat is Ian. When he was 2 years old, he happened to encounter demons coming out of a spatial rift. Just as the demon was about to pounce, N suddenly awakened. They say it was a one-sided slaughter at the time. His mother was covered in blood, watching this scene in horror. A 2-year-old child sitting in a stroller crying, with demon corpses all below. Hibiki continued, hand-to-hand combat is too advantageous for N. Koichiro said, what's wrong with recommending the strongest person from my unit? N has no magical talent, but his physical ability is the strongest among all awakened ones. Since joining until now, he's dedicated all his strength to combat training. No one can defeat him in bare-handed combat. N's captain enthusiastically introduced him. Would you stop flexing like that? IT's so cringy, Captain Hibiki complained weakly. Both sides were ready, and the battle officially began. I heard you also instructed Hikataro. Is that true? Hearing this, I was stunned for a moment. The ones who instructed Hikitaro were the masters behind me. I'm just a messenger, only occasionally giving small suggestions. I see. Some people give geniuses a few suggestions and think they're their teacher. Hikitaro is a genius like me. I believe he'll catch up to you soon. Yeah, I think so too. I couldn't help but feel happy. The opponent cares about Hikitaro. En thought, what a strange guy. Then En's hand bones underwent abnormal changes. Skill activated, rip and tear. En's whole body gradually transformed into a beast, with electric currents flickering from his sharp fingers, just by using force with his feet. En instantly appeared in front of me. At the moment he was about to attack me, I crouched down in time to dodge the attack, while gripping my fist to counterattack. However, the next second, the attack just now actually caused an explosion behind me. Then En swung his left hand at me again. Under this fierce offensive, I could only passively defend and dodge. Just then, I saw the right timing, and grabbed the opponent's attacking wrist. I activated my skill, Kodo-style technique arm twist, directly throwing the opponent flying, and heavily crashing into the ground. The massive destructive force blasted a big hole in the ground. Using the reaction force, I brought him up high. En, you're really amazing. However, the opponent was extremely angry after hearing this. Are you mocking me, you bastard? At this moment, En was furious. He forcefully shook off my hand, using the inertia to return to the ground, then immediately charged at me. You damn bastard. At this moment, looking at the aggressive opponent, I thought, it seems brute force alone cannot defeat En. Then I can only try this. The next second, I stepped on a boulder behind me and immediately used Eilerson's light speed kick, instantly kicking toward En's abdomen. But it wasn't over yet. The moment I landed, I used Hakwang's signature technique fist strike, kicking the same spot again with the skill, spinning foot strike. En was sent flying by this combo. While being sent flying, En's mouth and eyes emitted dazzling light. Until he landed, En couldn't make any resistance, and completely passed out. First hand-to-hand combat match, winner Minato Kanagi, plus 2 points. The masters in the mark space felt very pleased. Kid, you used the skills well. Everyone found this scene hard to believe. I didn't expect this guy Minato to not only have superior magic power, but also overwhelm En in physical ability. I originally thought this newcomer would automatically be eliminated if left alone. Now he's our biggest rival. Maybe he'll interfere with my plan. When En woke up and slightly opened his eyes, who are you? It's you again? En couldn't believe the one healing him was me. You'd better not move now. The injury just now was quite serious. Minato Kanagi, what are you kidding about? Your magic power and physical ability are terrifyingly strong, and now you're telling me you're also a healer? Since that incident, I've been seriously learning skills in this area. I never want to see people around me die before my eyes again. Just then, an explosion in the distance caught their attention. En, just awakened, was confused about the current situation. I told him that was the final battle of hand-to-hand combat. It turned out En had been unconscious for 5 minutes. During this time, the remaining people had paired up, and the battles almost started simultaneously. Haruki Koki of Yaguruma Unit defeated Kaname Irio of Hibiki Unit. Seishiro Asahina of Yorozuya Unit defeated Koromo Sonobe of Yushima Unit. These 2 matches ended quickly. The last one was the current match. Eisuke Sakazaki of Surusaki Unit versus Soa Hisagi of Makabe Unit. They had been fighting for a long time. Soa Hisagi frantically punched at Eisuke, but was resolved one by the opponent. Do you think you're amazing? All your stats are average. Just then, Eisuke was forcefully sent flying by Soa Hisagi. But you have no outstanding abilities. You're just a replaceable part, not suitable to be captain at all. Unfortunately, your image of a captain is different from mine, even if one of your abilities is outstanding. When encountering certain special scenarios, it's hard to lead your team members to safety. Comprehensive ability development allows for improvisation when accidents happen. Even if it only increases the survival rate of all members by 1%, that's the kind of captain I want to be. Like Captain Suo, after a battle ends, the team's fate also reaches its end. Such things should not happen. My heart jumped when I heard this, feeling very displeased. En was also angry. Scheming glasses, how dare you gossip here? Minato, don't listen to his nonsense. Yeah, thank you, En. On the battlefield, Soa Hisagi didn't listen to the opponent's nonsense and immediately activated his skill. Martial arts, lethal chain. Eisuke still just passively defended. However, the next second, he was once again sent flying heavily, his whole body falling to the ground. Just as Soa Hisagi wanted to pursue the victory. Wait, I surrender. Thus, Soa Hisagi won, but she was very confused. Eisuke, you bastard, you deliberately lost to me. Don't misunderstand. I don't like violent girls. I just felt continuing would take too long and wanted to conserve strength. Although continuing might very well result in my victory. I don't want to let Minato Kanagi see my trump card so quickly. The second test, hand-to-hand combat, was completely finished. Currently ranking first was still Minato Kanagi. Next, after a 30-minute break, the third test would begin. After it ends, the 4 contestants with the lowest scores would be directly eliminated. At this moment, on the other side, Shinji and Ichika Hinoki seem to have arrived at another place. Master Ichika, what are we doing here? The test venue doesn't seem to be this way. However, Ichika Hinoki didn't explain and walked straight forward, not stopping until she reached a tree. Found it. Someone died here. Although it was cleverly hidden, traces still remain. The enemy was quite powerful, killing the opponent with overwhelming strength. Hearing this, Shinji was very surprised. You mean there's an intruder? We need to notify everyone immediately. Do you know about the 12 disciples? Even the strongest Captain Makoto died at their hands. It's not strange for them to discover and infiltrate the anti-prophecy organization. Let's go, Shinji. We're going to the test site now. The one killed was likely captain level. I haven't received any death reports, and most likely the opponent is mixed in with those candidates. The people wanting revenge aren't just you and Midori. Back at the test site, everyone was adjusting their condition on the spot, preparing for the third test. I was having lunch with N on the side. Just then, two familiar figures approached. Master Ichika and Shinji. Seems like you're performing well. Ichika Hinoki's arrival immediately caught everyone's attention. Like Midori, she was one of the 5 special agents in the anti-prophecy organization. Ichika Hinoki called me aside alone. After some conversation, I couldn't believe what I heard. The 12 disciples have already infiltrated among us. Based on the scene analysis, the victim was at least captain level. And now everyone is present, which means someone here is an enemy in disguise. At this moment, Ichika Hinoki said something shocking. If we can't find the opponent, let's just kill them all. Master Ichika, the infiltrator is one of the 12 disciples, right? That means the opponent is a companion of the one who killed Captain Suo. Recalling the previous tragedy, the flames of revenge ignited in my heart. I must find that guy. But how can we distinguish between real and fake? At this moment in the marked space, a heroic spirit was watching everything happening outside. This person was the detective progenitor Azul. If possible, I really want to go to the crime scene and look. However, such strange behavior would arouse the criminal's suspicion. Assuming the opponent has the same strength as Tolf, if he launches a surprise attack, everyone present could be in mortal danger. So even if we go to the crime scene, we must wait until after the exam. Based on available information, to avoid our detection, the opponent most likely acted during the month we were in close training in the mountains. Since that mountain was the awakening place of Hinoki-style sword technique, spiritual power was very chaotic. And the opponent's concealment ability was very strong. Only by approaching the crime scene could we sense some remaining traces. If the next test content is about combat ability, then let me probe and test. The break time finally ended, and the third test began. However, unexpectedly, the test content was the most ordinary written exam. Everyone was in a separate booth. Some were happy, some were worried. The questions were all about prophecy rules. For a newcomer like me, I completely didn't understand. Is this the knowledge a captain must master? Despite thinking hard about the answers, I couldn't solve a single question until the exam ended. The total score rankings came out quickly. Those who advanced were Minato, Eisuke, Kuromo, Seishiro. Minato, congratulations. But I didn't expect you to get 0 points on the written test just like me, and that bookworm glasses actually got full marks. So annoying! Finally, I hope you can become the ultimate winner. Do you know? The minimum number for each unit is 7 people, meaning besides the captain, you need to find 6 other members. So if you become captain, you can invite other candidates to join your team. By the way, if you need a teammate with the strongest physical techniques, you can prioritize considering me. I'm leaving first. Good luck. At this time, Azul suddenly appeared. Now let's go to the crime scene. However, I saw through his intentions. You already know who the killer is, right? How annoying. I am a detective. Everything requires evidence. Come, watch how I corner you, 12 disciples. We can already determine that a spy has infiltrated this captain selection. A 12 disciple killed and replaced them. And as a detective progenitor, Azul seems to have already seen through the truth. So who exactly is the killer? Malesius couldn't help but ask. Through the information provided by Ichika Hinoki, I came to the crime scene. Looking at the traces left at the scene, it's roughly as I suspected. The perpetrator and victim can now be confirmed. We can also confirm that the opponent is indeed one of the 12 apostles. This place is filled with an aura, similar to the prophecy book carried by Tolf. Now we need to discuss how to catch them. Just then, a gentle breeze passed by. I regained control of my body again. What's wrong, Azul? Where are you? The surroundings suddenly changed, and I found myself mysteriously in a strange space. At that moment, footsteps suddenly came from behind. I turned around to look. A blurry figure slowly came into view. An elderly woman radiating golden light walked toward me from the distance. Child over there, what are you investigating here? I looked at her puzzledly, not knowing who she was. But I could tell for certain that she was very strong. She said, I'm just an old woman passing through here. I told her that a murder had occurred here. The old woman was immediately somewhat surprised. She sensed the surrounding aura and confirmed that what I said was true. In our conversation, I told her about what had happened. We've already confirmed who the perpetrator is, but we can't expose him yet. The old woman asked puzzledly, why? Wouldn't it be better to just arrest him directly? First, we can confirm that his strength is extremely powerful. And the most important reason is that there are two perpetrators. So it would be best to catch them all in one place at the same time. Tomorrow is the best opportunity, so could you hold off on raising the alarm for now? I'm afraid of alerting them. I won't do anything. I'm just passing through here. Farewell, interesting little one. By the way, what's your name? My name is Minato Kanagi, the man who will become the strongest transcendent. I'll remember that. After saying this, the old woman disappeared with the wind. When I came back to my senses, I was still at the crime scene from before. It's just that there was no one around me, as if what just happened was only a dream. At Iganen, the old woman was leisurely taking a walk. I just sensed a strange aura earlier. Walking closer to look, I didn't expect to have an unexpected harvest. Those eyes, I shouldn't be mistaken. The next morning, I prepared to go alone to participate in the final assessment. At this time, En ran up from behind. Minato, let me go with you. I heard that today's exam focuses on testing the captain's abilities. Aisuke guessed that the exam content will be battle plans or team command. No matter what, I absolutely support you. Thank you for your support. Speaking of which, you deliberately lost the match, didn't you? You found out. Because the plan changed rather than being captain myself. Now I hope more to become a member of the new squad. This way I can unleash my power more freely. Is it to more conveniently kill all the promising team members? Suddenly, the aura around En changed. Ichika Hinoki, who was hiding nearby, was ready to act at any moment. Well, if necessary, I can kill one more person and replace them. My ability is to collect information from the host's brain. I really didn't expect there would be a written test. If I had known, I should have possessed that bastard Aisuke. As the two talked, they arrived at their destination. Just then, the captains lying in ambush around them surrounded them. I saw Captain of the Todoroki unit, Koichiro Todoroki, bound by countless chains on the grass. Even his mouth was sealed, preventing him from saying anything. Hello there, 12 apostles. Could you introduce yourself? My name is Ava, ranked 9th. My skill, as you can see, is to replace the killed person and then parasitize their brain. Aside from Minato Kanagi, who unexpectedly participated in the test, this body is the strongest among your examinees. The purpose is naturally to destroy the anti-prophecy organization from within. Since I'm exposed, let's have a great battle. Before that, I want to ask a question: who discovered me first? The one who has been standing beside you from the beginning. I didn't expect it to be you. One surprise after another. Then let's begin. A terrifying aura bursts forth from En's body. Tell me, Minato Kanagi, who exactly are you? And the truth of the case was actually this. That night, En excitedly said to Captain Todoroki, "Can I really participate in the new captain selection? I'm so happy." Of course it's true. You're the team member I have the highest hopes for. Tomorrow the candidate list for the new captain will be announced. To keep it secret, I brought you outside to tell you quietly. According to what I know, among the candidates, you ultimately have the strongest combat power, so this captain position is definitely yours. Instantly, En was encouraged and moved. Master, I absolutely won't let you down. But with En's smile, his body was split into several pieces. Everything happened too suddenly. Even Captain Todoroki didn't know what happened. He looked at En on the ground in disbelief. How fragile. Are all captain candidates this weak? My name is Ava. I belong to the 12 disciples. Skill, Amanojaku. Instantly, a green magical power wrapped around En's corpse. Just then, a huge fist struck. Titanium incarnation. Instantly, Captain Todoroki turned Ava into mincemeat. How dare you, bastard. Captain Todoroki shed tears as he spoke. However, at this moment, a familiar voice sounded, "Amazing, Master. You flattened one of the 12 apostles with one strike." Captain Todoroki turned around in disbelief. You're safe and sound. The next second, Captain of Todoroki was cut in half by En. No, Master, I'm Ava. I've already taken over this body. Then he took out an artifact, Necromance Dance, and scattered it on Captain Todoroki's corpse. Soon the wounds on Captain Todoroki's body were all healed, and he immediately stood up. Good, good. From now on, you'll be my undead slave. If you understand, respond, yes, Mr. Ava. Speak properly. I'm now called En Shikami, not Ava. After that, both of them let out sinister laughter. The scene seemed to end there. This is precisely the skill of the detective progenitor Azul, theatrical detective. It can replay complete footage at the scene where a crime occurred. The condition for activation is that Azul himself has already confirmed the perpetrator and evidence. The price is that if the deduction is wrong, he will permanently lose this skill. In other words, Azul has never failed once since birth. The enemy's skills are parasitic manipulation of the killed and an artifact that can control the dead. No matter how many times I see this type of bastard, I find them disgusting. The progenitor sensed a massive magical power rising. Having seen the complete process, the anger in my heart erupted uncontrollably. Unforgivable, you're going to pay for this. Energy continuously gathered in my fist. Skill light reflection. In just an instant, I was in front of Ava. Then I raised my fist and swung it heavily toward the opponent. Fist strike. Spinning punch. My angry fist smashed into the opponent's face. Ava was heavily knocked away by this strike. Minato Kanagi, I really didn't expect you to be so excellent. We should also be considered friends who've exchanged blows, right? Treating me like this is a bit excessive. Minato, your training is still insufficient. You need to practice hard. How could this kind of attack be effective against me? As expected, it's still not enough. My current strength is insufficient to fight against it, although I'm very unwilling to avoid regret. The one who will defeat you next won't be me. I'll bear your anger and regret. The Mage of Truth, Molestius Silentius. Seeing that my aura suddenly changed, Ava didn't seem surprised either. Is this the state that the satellite reported before? Come on, Minato Kanagi. Suddenly, a gap appeared in the sky. Ava's magical power extended directly toward the sky. I saw a huge sphere suddenly appear in the sky, with countless humanoid puppets falling from it. We living beings are ultimately just passing time. Let us enjoy playing in this time. In the mark space, Azul said upon seeing this scene, this Ava has abandoned her original flesh, and is using artifacts to control a large number of corpses. At this moment, Ava provoked, each of these corpses has combat power equal to N's. Let me see what you'll use to deal with them. Captain Hibiki looked worried. This is a bit troublesome. Looking at it, there are hundreds of such guys. Kaname Irio on the side was already scared pale. So many puppets with captain-level strength. How are we supposed to fight? Damn it, is this a second trampling of the dignity of those souls? At this moment, Molestius showed a relieved smile. Minato, you've changed. Of course, we progenitors are the same. At first, you only pursued power for yourself. And we also did it to possess your body. Later, you became intoxicated with your constantly strengthening self, becoming stronger for the sake of becoming stronger. We were also intoxicated with your talent. However, after tasting the flavor of great setbacks, being entrusted with future responsibilities by the captain you looked up to, now you feel angry for those who were killed and used. We all really like who you are now. In you, we see the meaning of becoming strong. Now let's begin. Let's defeat the enemy together. Hadad. The next second, countless lightning bolts appeared, all precisely hitting the puppets in the process of falling. They emitted dazzling light, illuminating everything around. I will eliminate them all before they land. Ava looked up at the sky in disbelief. I saw that the puppets she summoned in the air were all struck by lightning and burst into flames, like a grand fireworks display exploding. How did he do it? Through repeated practice, shooting can indeed achieve 100% accuracy. But to achieve such large-scale lightning strikes and to hit everything without even looking, I've never heard of anyone who could do this. I couldn't help but sigh. Even using my body, he can display such strength. How strong must Master have been in his prime? At this moment, Ava began to grow impatient watching me talk to myself. He angrily rushed over, the weak being toyed with by the strong. That's the law of nature! But at this moment, Ava was startled. The next second, a huge lightning bolt fell, and Ava narrowly dodged it. Molestius said, many people have the same thoughts as you. We used to be the same. I wanted to destroy the tower that suddenly appeared in our world. However, the existence from another dimension was so powerful. Weak humans suffered heavy casualties. At that time, I felt truly angry from the bottom of my heart. Minato, you now, although your power is still insufficient. But you can stand up for others. Never forget that we feel the same as you. You can definitely reach the same heights as us. Even when facing powerful opponents, we will help you. Against those enemies that make you feel angry and sad, freely vent your fury. Let's end all prophecies together. The next second, Ava's limbs were severed by truth magic. Ava fell straight down. Everyone around couldn't believe I would be so strong. Just like Midori when she was young, like a walking monster. Ava, lying in a pool of blood, couldn't believe it at this moment. Why is this? I slowly walked toward him. Now you feel the power gap between us, right? I have some questions for you. Don't worry, we have many people skilled in interrogation, so you'd better confess early. However, Ava didn't seem ready to give up yet. Fortunately, I followed the boss's advice before coming and added insurance for myself. The next second, a pitch-black coffin emerged from the ground. You know, hundreds of years ago, one of the progenitors who destroyed the towers. A swordsman who could kill through thousands of troops with a single branch. At this time, the coffin was opened, revealing the corpse inside. It was Reichiro Hinoki. This immediately shocked everyone, and Reichiro was also startled. Isn't this my corpse? Before everyone could react, Molestius immediately used Hadad to strike. It seems this corpse is real. The lightning was slashed apart. At this moment, Ava had transferred to Reichiro's corpse, and burst forth with powerful magical power. This body is simply wonderful. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. This oppressive force is actually stronger than Midori's back then. I saw Ava snap his fingers. Immediately, countless arms emerged from the surrounding land. The second puppet army appeared again. Just as I was getting anxious, a huge sound suddenly erupted from behind. Ava looked back puzzledly. Somehow, all the companions had arrived. Minato, don't forget you're not fighting alone. Leave these puppets to us. So these are your companions? It was actually Reichiro's voice. Even the tone was identical. I really pity them. You should know that none of my puppets are weaklings. On the other side of the battlefield, Soa Hisagi of Makabe unit was fighting fiercely with a puppet. Could it be a body-hardening skill? My full-power lethal chain blast didn't even scratch him. I don't know if all these puppets are the same, or if they each have their own skills. Seishiro Asahina of Yorozuya unit was gradually surrounded. Kaname Iryo of Hibiki unit was being chased by a large group of puppets. Seeing the struggling team members, Captain Hibiki couldn't stand it anymore. Then she put on his headphones. Skill, realize, suit, the Firebird. A fire phoenix directly burned the puppet army to ashes. Captain Hibiki looked to the side. This is troublesome. Even when dead, they can still use their skills from life. The next second, the iron chains binding Captain Todoroki broke. Captain Todoroki suddenly used titanium incarnation to burst forth, directly breaking all the chains binding his body. Then he rushed down and smashed with force, immediately causing the earth to collapse. Captain Hibiki and Kaname Iryo were almost caught in it. Seeing the chaotic scene, Eva laughed heartily. Without captain-level strength, it's impossible to survive in this situation. However, I wasn't worried at all. Right, Masters? I believe in you, and I believe in them. Don't underestimate my companions, I said to Eva. They can already match the 12 apostles. Hikutaro in the midst of the puppet army. Now it's one against many. This looks like an opportunity to apply Lesson 7. Hikutaro suddenly had golden dragon phantoms appear around him. Skill, fist technique. Dragon's Crossing. At this time, Progenitor Tak Wong, the legendary fist in the mark space, said, Hikutaro's body is very interesting. His muscles are like compressed steel wire, combining rigidity and flexibility. Progenitor Eilerson, the flash foot, also agreed. His previous tactics were to use steps and jumps to concentrate attacks at one point, which prevented his advantages from being fully utilized. Our goal is to let him attack continuously like a thread, cutting through everything. Then Hikutaro activated his skill, Dragon Scales. Then he kicked the puppet into 2 pieces. Akane, how was that move? Akane in front was also surrounded by a large number of puppets. Her master progenitor Killick, the alchemist, said, so-called alchemy is a technique to make imperfect things perfect. Previously, Akane was limited by combat in her strength. She was only generating weapons. However, that's just the tip of the iceberg of alchemy. Then Akane activated her skill, Trismegistus. A huge palm was generated from it. An alchemist is one who dares to touch all taboos, overcome all difficulties, and transcend themselves. She activated her skill, Even Men's. It seemed like Lesson 8, creating imaginary creatures. The huge humanoid stone block eliminated the puppets on the ground with just one step. On Shinji's side, Reichiro, who had given him guidance, said, although different, he's the same type as his brother. Both are geniuses. There's nothing to worry about. Then Shinji took his stance, Hinoke-style sword technique. Snake crawl. Then used his skill, Marigold Blast. Not far away, Ichika Hinoki watched this scene with great relief. Makoto would surely be happy to see this too. Below her was a pile of puppets she had just killed. Just then, a powerful flame tornado erupted in the center of the battlefield, with Mai and Ava's figures appearing within it. Is it starting? The battle between Minato Kanagi and the 12 apostles. However, when Ichika Hinoki saw clearly the 2 people standing in the battlefield, that's the founding ancestor of Hinoki sword style, Reichiro Hinoki. What's going on here? That's all from the previous episode. You're only noticing now? A battle between the strongest magician and the strongest swordsman is about to unfold. I saw Eva raise his long sword. Hinoki sword style, wave cutter. The terrifying sword energy directly split the flame tornado apart. However, Molestia simply sidestepped lightly to dodge the attack, then used lightning to collide with Ava's sword energy. As expected, the output is still insufficient. Just then, Ava used his skill dice roll. A sword net composed of sword energy struck, directly cutting the entire area into countless pieces, as if it had become a block world. Everything around turned into blocks and collapsed. Is this the true power of Hinoki's sword style? Indeed, my body back then couldn't let Reichiro display his true strength. This large-scale attack affected everyone else. Seishiro grabbed Soa Hisagi, who was about to fall into the abyss. However, the next second, a sword light flashed. Seishiro's arm was severed. Soa Hisagi fell down holding the severed hand. Molestia saw the situation here, quickly activated magic, wrapping everyone in magic bubbles. Then, while dodging attacks, he jumped toward Ava. In the space, Molestia suddenly spoke. What should we do about Reichiro? Reichiro watched their battle with an inexplicably uncomfortable feeling. He turned and left, then lay down on the ground not far away. Handle it yourself from now on. I don't care. Are you sure? All right. At this moment, Molestius had reached above Ava. Ava saw this and again used Hinoki sword style. Skill, Cloud Beam. Under this strike, even the sky was split open. Captain Hibiki, watching from the side, complained, This attack is a bit messy. On the battlefield, both sides return to the ground again. So strong. Is this a progenitor's body? It can be called the strongest battle weapon. Whether it's body hardness or skill strength, everything is impeccable. However, Molestius looked at him very coldly. Then him attack again, Hinoki-style sword technique, non-physical sublime perfection. However, it was blocked by Molestius with one hand. Eva looked at this scene in shock. How is this possible? Clearly using Reichiro's body. But the strength displayed is so weak. Eva quickly retreated to create distance. This is the legendary progenitor's body. How could it be weak? The skills must not be strong enough. I must search for stronger skills in my mind. As consciousness continuously sank into the depths of memory, Reichiro's flesh inexplicably shed tears. Why am I crying? It's the deepest memory carved into the flesh. I only glimpsed a tiny bit of it. In the demon tower, filled with various powerful monsters. However, Reichiro simply waved the long sword in his hand a few times, and destroyed both the monsters and the tower. Having achieved such great accomplishments, but feeling increasingly lonely and bored inside. What's with this body? It's too powerful. It has already transcended the category of human. In Reichiro's memory, it was constantly pursuing strength step by step. First cutting people, then cutting demons, then cutting seas, then cutting stars. Then, the terrifying memory suddenly caused Eva to become confused. Already so powerful, where's the path ahead? Can I continue to become stronger? The powerful memory caused Eva to be unable to bear it. No, if this continues, my soul will break. Then let it break, Reichiro in the mark space said indifferently. Hey, if it breaks, it will go out of control. Then everyone present will die. Just then, Eva stood up, constantly emitting strange black energy from his body. Eilerson saw this and immediately shouted, "This guy really broke. It's over. Everyone will die." The next second, a massive, oppressive force erupted from Eva's body. At the same time in G City, S-Class Kisarog and his companions also felt this oppressive force. Quick, guide the residents to evacuate. How can there be such a huge aura? The source comes from N County, 100 kilometers away from here. What happened there? Could there be such a terrifying monster? Eva had now completely lost himself. The oppressive force was still continuously climbing. Everyone present was pressed down and unable to move. This guy is so powerful with just his aura alone. Seeing the scene in the mark space, I was extremely anxious and immediately tried to ask Reichiro for help. However, he didn't intend to act. He simply said indifferently, "Molestius, it's up to you." And Molestius simply responded, "Understood." Minato's body strength should be able to use it once now. Then she activated magic, with several magic rings appearing on his arm. Ma'agal ha'emet, activate. The great battle is about to begin. Akane behind was shocked watching the scene. At this time, she heard a voice coming from my body. It was Alchemist Killick speaking. Minato and Akane, you must watch carefully. Whether it's magic or alchemy. For those who pursue worldly truth, there's one ultimate question that troubles us. That is, when facing the ultimate flesh. Can our truth still devour it? At this moment, Ava's soul had already shattered. What now drives Reichiro Hinoki's flesh to act is only some soul fragments. But this became an opportunity for it. Like wild animals instinctively choosing the optimal solution to act, it will destroy everything around. Previously, Ava's use of the flesh was immature. Now it's all left to instinct to act. We call this state total darkness. At this moment, Ava spread his arms and began to rotate, with a large amount of black energy emerging from his body. The black energy gradually attacked in Molestius's direction, gradually engulfing him. The next second, Molestius's eyes emitted dazzling light, and the entire world was instantly shrouded in red. After blinking, the red disappeared, but the darkness created by Ava was not dispelled, gradually forming a huge dark tornado. And Ava at the center of the tornado rotated faster and faster. The next second, my body was as if cut by countless blades, blood spattering. But the darkness didn't stop, continuously spreading to the surroundings. The people around were also gradually swallowed by darkness, their bodies like mine, as if cut by countless blades. The darkness continued to spread, gradually engulfing the volcano, distant cities, my family, and the shrine of progenitors, until it covered the entire world. I don't know how long passed. Ava stood shirtless on the sea surface, with the entire continent beneath his feet no longer existing. Just then, Ava suddenly let out a roar, with huge black energy emanating. My vision was once again shrouded in red. Did everyone die? And then the red immediately disappeared. I see, Killick previewed the result of not intervening with Ava. Minato suddenly understood, if we don't do anything, this is what will happen. At this moment, Ava, wrapped in terrifying black energy, attacked Molestius. The Mage of Truth, Molestius Silentius. Skill, Ma'agal ha'emet. The skill was too far from the mundane world, it was sealed away. The source of its power is the opponent's skills, perfectly analyzing any attack from the opponent. I saw Molestius easily catch Ava's attacking arm. No matter how much power the opponent burst forth, the caught arm didn't move at all. Your attack has been decoded by me. Ava's soul instinctively felt fear and wanted to retreat. However, his palm was tightly gripped by Molestius, Skill, and Lil Mellum. Immediately, a scorching light burst forth from the arm. When the smoke cleared, the air was filled with a pungent burnt smell. Raichiro's flesh had turned into charcoal. Farewell, remains of my old friend. At the end of truth, see you again. The other progenitors in the space also watched him leave. Raichiro on the side complained speechlessly, enough you guys, I'm still here. Soul and flesh are different after all. Soon, I regained control of my body. Everyone cheered for my victory. Ichika Hinoki looked at me in disbelief. Is this really Minato Kanagi? What was that month plus of training with me about? Hikotaro was also sweating. I thought I had caught up, but I didn't expect you to become so strong, Minato. Shinji said, what a monster. To be able to burn that guy to charcoal in an instant. Akane also sighed. What's truly frightening is what happened before that. In that instant, he completely analyzed the enemy's skill and successfully caught the opponent's attack. Can humans really reach that realm? If so, maybe I can do it too. At this time, Tengen Shinonome, who was responsible for the assessment, finally arrived. What's with this big hole? Such a major incident occurred during the new captain assessment. Unshikami and Captain Todoroki both died. I, as the person in charge, cannot escape responsibility. Just then, an aged voice rang out, everyone, thank you for your hard work. I saw a teleportation magic suddenly appear on the empty ground not far away. Tengen Shinonome was startled when he saw this, quickly extinguishing the cigarette in his hand. Why are you here? An elderly person walked out from the teleportation magic. This person was the supreme commander of the prophecy organization. I looked at the other party in surprise. She was the old woman who passed by yesterday. The commander actually wanted to talk to me alone. However, the next second, everyone was stunned. I saw the other party suddenly kneel in front of me. You have finally come. For hundreds of years, I have finally waited for your appearance. Welcome back, progenitors. In the mark space, the progenitors were also puzzled. Does anyone know what's going on? The other three were also shocked. This old woman is actually the commander? Ichika Hinoki turned and said calmly, you guys didn't know? In the mark space, no one seemed to recognize the old person in front of them. Although I can't remember, she gives me a familiar feeling. You really still can't remember me. No wonder. I've become an old woman now. Maybe this will help you remember. The commander began to constantly wave her arms, then put her hands together, a solemn and dignified aura slowly emanating from her body. Just as I was nervously waiting, the commander suddenly started dancing. Da-da-da-da, Raichiro is doing the waist dance. The progenitors looked at the dance before them in surprise. The aged figure before them actually overlapped with a familiar silhouette from many years ago. Suddenly, everyone remembered. Are you Io? The next second, Raichiro excitedly took control of the body, then patted Io hard. It's really you. Long time, no see. Seeing this scene, Tengen and Shiki were furious. Minato Kanagi, watch your attitude. However, the next second, both the commander and Raichiro started doing the waist dance. I want to kill Minato Kanagi. The captain assessment needs to be redone. Let the first place go die. I want to exile him to the outer atmosphere. Do you two have any problems? Stay quiet. Ha 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 ha, it really has been a long time. I didn't expect you to become an old woman. Yes, it's been a very, very long time. I really miss the days when we were all together. The scene changed, and I was brought by the commander to her residence, Aiganen, with Tengen and Shiki guarding outside the door. I really didn't expect the anti-prophecy headquarters to have such a place. I prefer quiet, so I set up a barrier around here and don't usually show myself. Madam Commissioner, how did you get to know the master progenitors? I'm actually also a person from the Tower era. In that catastrophe, my family all perished. Fortunately, I met them, and that's how I survived. A person from the Tower era? How is that possible? That was over 300 years ago. Don't be surprised. I actually used an artifact to stop the time of my flesh. As long as I stay within the anti-prophecy organization, I won't age. An artifact? The artifacts I've seen so far are each more powerful than the last. This is very similar to your skill, Warrentine. Indeed, in my prime, I could do the same thing. But such a powerful artifact, how did you obtain it, Io? In the anti-prophecy organization, there's a department that collects and manages artifacts. It doesn't belong to any country, and its existence is completely hidden. However, not long ago, that place was attacked, and many artifacts were stolen. The special agents led by Midori led a task force to investigate this matter. That attacker must be the 12 disciples, right? The mystery has been solved. This is why the 12 apostles have become so powerful. Do you still remember what Ava said when I used my ability to examine the crime scene? I have become too powerful now, thanks to the artifacts and the boss who granted us these artifacts. Using artifacts can strengthen mediocre awakeners and push them to the pinnacle of combat power. Before the artifact theft incident occurred, the existence of the 12 apostles was not even known. The people in the anti-prophecy organization are basically all top-tier fighters. Yet now they can easily surpass us with the power of artifacts. We are doing everything we can to hunt down the enemy's leader. But perhaps Midori will find that person faster. And at this moment, in the capital of Country A across the ocean, the originally quiet streets suddenly erupted with a blue light. It was actually Midori's ultimate technique, turbulence. After the smoke cleared, Midori's figure emerged from the ruins. I see, although it's called the 12 Apostles. There are actually 13 people. A man was seen floating in the air, leisurely drinking coffee. You came faster than I expected. Do you prefer coffee or tea? Go to hell, number 0 Apostle. Skill, turbulence. Immediately, a terrifying blue tornado rose from around Midori. Its range continuously expanded, enveloping the entire area. And at this moment, 2 people stood on a nearby rooftop. Special Agent Kyo Nishina, looks like the battle has begun. Special Agent Shuichi Mikado, the entire city is going to be abandoned. Is that idiot planning to drill through to the other side of the earth? Just then, a sword light flashed, cutting the entire building in half. Then countless sword lights struck, and the entire building crumbled to dust in an instant. Both Kyo Nishina and Shuichi Mikado easily dodged. Midori will have to handle that side on his own. And we'll take care of things here. A swordsman appeared before them. The newcomer was actually Hajime Kamaragi, ranked first among the 12 disciples of the apocalypse. Meanwhile, on Midori's side, everything around had been reduced to nothingness. However, even though Midori unleashed such a powerful turbulence, it didn't cause any damage to the number 0 Apostle. Is this some kind of defensive skill, or did he use the rumored artifacts? What's wrong, not attacking anymore? I'm a bit disappointed. Provoked, Midori raised his hand again to launch an attack. Countless tornadoes struck toward the opponent. Midori's skill Pearl Storm, a brilliant light radiated from the center. Then a massive mushroom cloud rose. How's this skill? However, the man's voice rang out again from the explosion. Have you ever been to an aquarium? There are giant predators in the water that humans cannot match, yet humans can safely observe from the side. My current situation is exactly like that. This guy's defensive methods are quite unusual. This analogy makes it easy to understand. Originally, someone like me could never be your opponent. However, you've been blinded by rage over your comrades' deaths. What a pitiful creature. You were born destined to fight as a monster. Fighting is the only value of your existence, yet you've lost yourself because of the laughable bonds with your comrades. The number 0 Apostle's words immediately struck Midori's heart. He angrily charged toward the opponent. Am I wrong? The scene shifts to 23 years ago, when a massive amount of spiritual power suddenly erupted from deep in the mountains. Tengen Shinonome, who was still a special agent at the time, came here with the commander. This is the ancestral home of the Midori family, right? How come there's no trace of it now? Strong winds were raging here. The closer they got, the more powerful it became. What exactly happened at the center? As they continued to approach, they discovered that at the center was a small baby crying loudly. What a terrifying aura. I never expected a newborn baby to have such frightening power. While Tengen was still in shock, the commander had already jumped down without hesitation. Approaching without any protection in this situation is very dangerous. As the commander gradually approached, his entire body seemed to be slashed by countless blades, leaving layers of wounds. The commander gently picked up the baby. It's okay, it's okay. With continuous soothing, the baby gradually stopped crying. Miraculously, the surrounding winds also stopped. Tengen, I'll personally raise this child. His name will be Midori Ichihara. 9 years passed, and in the corridor of the anti-prophecy organization, 9-year-old Midori encountered 2 people. Special Agent Kijuro Hinoki, is this the cursed child? Standing beside him was 12-year-old Ichika Hinoki. Hearing the old man's words, Midori just turned around and gave him a cold look. You better watch yourself, kid. If you lose control, you'll become my hunting target. I can control myself just fine. That's why you're still alive, old man. The atmosphere suddenly became quiet, until Ichika Hinoki couldn't help but burst into laughter. Midori felt that they were all too weak. Everyone around Midori was too far below his level, causing Midori to always be alone. Using just a little force would destroy things. What fragile creatures. Until this day arrived, when a wooden sword flew directly toward Midori. Midori instantly shattered it. What are you trying to do? A red-haired boy walked out from the crowd. Sorry, you misunderstood my intention. I want to compete with you in swordsmanship. The newcomer was actually Makoto Suo, only 9 years old. This was their first meeting, which destined the beginning of their bond. However, unexpectedly, Midori actually lost. From then on, Midori became attached to Makoto Suo, coming to challenge him to battle every day. Let's compete again. I definitely won't lose this time. You really don't give up, do you? However, no matter how many times they fought, the result was always the same. Damn it, why can't I win? At this moment, 9-year-old Kyo Nishina suddenly appeared nearby. It's because you're too strong. Makoto Suo, who was training nearby, panicked. Kyo Nishina, don't give him hints. Midori looked confused. I clearly failed. How am I strong? He's complimenting you. 14-year-old Shuichi Mikado also walked over, because your aura is too powerful. And the wooden sword itself is fragile, unable to withstand your massive aura. With just a little force, it will shatter. If you want to win, you need to learn how to control your aura. This is a box of ordinary eggs. If I throw it at the wall, I can guarantee it will remain intact. Shuichi Mikado immediately picked up an egg, wrapped it with his aura, then threw it forcefully at the wall. Miraculously, the egg really wasn't damaged. Midori watched this scene in amazement. What he said is true. Don't you find it incredible? Let me say this up front. This isn't my skill. Just control the aura wrapping the egg properly, and it can perfectly cancel out the impact energy. The next second, Kyo Nishina threw the entire box of eggs at the wall. Not only did none of the eggs break, they also bounced back. Like playing ping pong, he caught all the eggs and threw them at the wall again. Midori watched this scene in shock, so he wanted to try it himself. If you want to win at swordsmanship, you must learn how to control your aura. If you can't control your powerful aura, you'll only hurt the people around you. However, unexpectedly, Midori threw the egg directly at Makoto Suo and it exploded on his face. I didn't do IT on purpose. I just wanted to practice our aura control together. Once I learn it, I'll definitely defeat you. I'll be waiting. I won't lose to anyone in swordsmanship, but you better apologize first. Then Makoto Suo kicked a box of eggs on the ground. Instantly, dozens of eggs flew into the air. Then let's begin our training. After countless failures, the surroundings were already piled with boxes of broken eggs. At this moment, Midori forcefully threw an egg at the wall. Very good. Finally succeeded. So their duel came once again. After hundreds of rounds of intense battle, the wooden sword didn't break. I'm so happy. Thank you, Makoto. Makoto was also very happy. 4 years later, 13-year-old Midori became a special agent, preparing to go to Europe to carry out a prophecy mission. IT's an emergency-grade prophecy called Pandemonium. Makoto Suo packed his bags, planning to follow Midori's advice and find a suitable sword master. When I've completed my studies, we'll fight side by side again. Okay, I'll wait for you to come back. It's a promise. Time returns to the present. Midori thought about everything that had happened. I never want to lose what I cherish again. I long to advance alongside you. If you were still alive, even in this chaotic world, I would willingly protect those friends I've always desired. You ruthlessly destroyed all of that. That was the life I most wanted to have. So you must die. Go to hell. The number 0 apostle remained calm. I'm very sorry to disappoint you. He took out the artifact Stampede Embryo and crushed it. Instantly, golden light enveloped both of them. On the other battlefield, Kyo Nishina and Shuichi Mikado were surprised to see a brilliant light in the distance. What happened on Midori's side? A familiar figure flew out from the center of the light, instantly arriving before them. Midori, has the enemy been defeated? However, Midori at this moment seemed somewhat off. Midori, what's wrong with you? No, who exactly are you? At this moment, Midori had already aimed his palm at Shuichi Mikado. Kyo Nishina quickly shouted, "Danger!" However, it was too late. Skill, turbulence. So on a certain day in November, 3 special agents from the anti-prophecy organization disappeared in Country A. The higher-ups sent 2 special agents from Country A to investigate. How is it? Did you find anything? According to the investigation, the energy residue is strongest here. This should be the explosion center. Looking at the pitch-black crater, the 2 couldn't help but sigh. Really amazing. Truly worthy of being the world's strongest awakener. Just don't know why the world's strongest would disappear along with his comrades. News of Midori's disappearance instantly spread around the world, causing the Country J branch to fall into chaos. At this moment in Aiganen, Tengen Shinonome still couldn't believe Midori would disappear. Rin, even you can't determine where he is? Rin Kitamori, as Midori's dedicated contact person, now also couldn't determine his location. The artifact connecting me to Midori seems to have been destroyed. I can no longer contact him. Just then, a familiar figure walked in. You came. This outfit suits you well, Captain Kanagi. That's right, I've officially become the new captain. I'm just still not used to it. Although the exam wasn't completed, you gained unanimous recognition from everyone present. Everyone saw your battle with that 12 Apostles member Ava. You're the only one who could defeat that guy. Only I know that it wasn't me who defeated him, but the progenitors within me. Thank you for your existence. Someday I'll catch up to your pace. The commander seemed to see through my thoughts and quickly comforted me. Even without their power, I think you're most suited to be captain. If I may be so bold, I have something I'd like to discuss with you privately. Soon, only the 2 of us remained in the room. Just then, a door suddenly appeared out of nowhere behind us. As the door opened, I was surprised to see the scene inside. You must have heard about Midori's disappearance. These 2 were Kyo Nishina and Shuichi Mikado, who had acted together with Midori. Midori's body has been hijacked by the leader of the 12 Apostles. Hearing this, I couldn't believe it at all. What exactly do you mean by that? Similar to Ava who attacked you before, They can possess others' bodies. It's very likely an artifact's effect. Midori has now become humanity's enemy. Sorry, we couldn't help at all. In our final battle, I sensed that Midori's consciousness hadn't completely dissipated. To keep us alive, he resisted stubbornly in the depths of his consciousness. Finally, he conveyed a few words to me. I'm sorry, you should run quickly. Remember, only Minato Kanagi is trustworthy. Only he can defeat number 0. Suddenly, I felt entrusted with responsibility once again. Midori has great expectations for you. I hope you won't disappoint him. Your current task is to recruit team members. The minimum number for a squad is 7 people. Your current team only has 4 people including yourself. Gather the most suitable talent to face Midori. The future belongs to you. The scene shifts to a corridor in the anti-prophecy building. Kaname Irio is running at full speed. Something terrifying seems to be behind him. Wait, won't you really consider it? Leave me alone. I really don't have that intention. Think about it again. I really hope you can become a member of my Kanagi unit. Are you kidding? I've devoted my life to the Hibiki unit. How could our captain let me leave? Just then, Akane suddenly appeared in front of him, holding a paper. We've already gotten permission from Captain Hibiki. Seeing the captain's signature and seal on the paper, Kaname Irio was on the verge of tears. Give up resisting and obediently become one of us. Meanwhile, in the courtyard outside the window, Eisuke Sakazaki was facing the same headache-inducing problem. According to my data analysis, this squad is very rude. Do you all greet people with violence right off the bat? Hikataro of the Kanagi unit, seems like I don't need to introduce myself. Nice to meet you, Eisuke. My captain sent me to invite you to join our squad. I refuse. Since the captain of Todoroki unit died, the team now has vacancies. I'll participate in the next captain assessment. I don't want to stay in Kanagi's team. Just then, an attack rushed straight toward Eisuke. Don't say anything. Let's fight first. However, the attack veered off course. Eisuke seemed to have no desire to fight, and walked straight to the side to sit down and type on his computer. Why couldn't I hit him just now? Is this his skill? I hate trouble the most. How about this? I'll give you a chance. If you can touch me even once within 60 seconds, I'll agree to your request. The activity range is limited to this courtyard. No restrictions on methods. Are you sure any method can be used? Then I won't hold back. Today you will definitely become a member of the Kanagi unit. So Eisuke took out his laptop. 60 seconds. Timing begins. The scene shifts to a stalactite cave deep within the anti-prophecy organization, where Captain Tsurusaki invites Eisuke to fish. This is a great place for fishing. With luck, you might catch something big. Are you sure you've thought it through about participating in the captain assessment again? Becoming a captain is my wish. Having your own ideals is great, but sometimes a good team is more important than a good captain. Do you think I can't be a good captain? Just then, Captain Tsurusaki's fishing rod reacted. Didn't expect to really catch a big one. That's not what I meant. I just feel like you're still missing something to become a good captain. The scene returns to the present, where 2 people are in the courtyard. One constantly chasing, the other constantly retreating to maintain distance. To be able to touch the opponent, Hikataro lifted his foot and launched an attack, just as he was about to hit. Eisuke, who had been standing there, vanished like a mirage. The next second, he appeared not far behind Hikataro. Hikataro was shocked by this scene. Is this his skill? I don't want to reveal too much to people outside my team. The skill is called Extended Self. It allows me to instantly transfer to the location of any of my possessions within a 100-meter radius. This is just like the 4th Hokage's Flying Thunder God technique. Precise positioning through marking. Too bad the teleportation range is too small. After a pursuit, Hikataro still couldn't touch his opponent. Seeing the opponent's powerful skill, Hikataro couldn't help but feel happy. To deal with Midori-san, we need teammates like this. I have no choice but to call for help. Just then, Eisuke didn't retreat but advanced, teleporting behind him. I have a question I'd like to ask you. You should be quite familiar with Minato Kanagi, right? So what did you see in him that made you willing to join his team? Hikataro replied, I don't know, but I know what your ideal captain is like. You said that when facing any difficulty, you would raise the team's survival rate to the maximum. I very much agree with your view. Ideally achieving a 100% survival rate. You want to become a captain with survival as your ideal. Never having to entrust your life to anyone. But is this really good? If you cherish your own life too much, when will we ever achieve our wishes? Even if I get injured, I want to destroy all prophecies. Oh right, I know why I joined the Kanagi unit now. Because I think only he can realize this wish, so I'm honored to be a member of the Kanagi unit. Hearing this, Eisuke suddenly felt a hint of envy toward Minato, simply because Minato was expected by others. I'll take your words as reference, but it seems like I won this match. Only 5 seconds left. Not necessarily. My help has arrived. A figure suddenly appeared in the sky behind Hikataro. Shinji launched a combination technique of Marigold Blast and Snake Crawl, instantly blasting downward. Eisuke was forced to teleport into the air to avoid the attack. However, The entire courtyard was destroyed by this strike. There were no more items to teleport to. Now there's nowhere to escape. Hikataro flew rapidly through the air, directly using flash kick on Isuke, directly kicking off Isuke's wristband. Touching your clothes should count too. You despicable guy, actually calling for outside help. You were the one who said any method was allowed. Damn it, I lost. I'm willing to join the Kanagi unit. Great, finally completed the captain's mission. Just then, I arrived with Akane and Kaname Iryo. Although I'm a bit embarrassed that I dragged Kaname Iryo along, everything went smoothly. The team is now just one person short of meeting the standard. Minato, do you have other candidates? Don't worry, I've already found other good teammates. Just then, 3 special agents walked over. Everyone was curious about what they were doing here. They suddenly spoke, Shuichi Mikado, Kyo Nishina, Ichika Hinoki. From today on, we 3 are officially joining the Kanagi unit. This immediately shocked everyone. At this moment, in a bell tower abroad, the remaining 512 apostles gathered here. Didn't expect only we remained. It is indeed a bit lonely. Fortunately, everything is still according to plan. Too bad the others can't see our successful day. Now that we've obtained Midori's body, we're only one step away from realizing that prophecy. To realize all prophecies of this world, let's prepare to depart. The scene shifts to a conference room in the prophecy headquarters. Tengen Shinonome and researchers are currently investigating the 12 apostles' prophecy books. According to investigation, the 12 prophecy books were originally one volume, based on our analysis of the collected book contents. This prophecy is called Bhagavad Gita, a super prophecy that could potentially destroy the world. And the key to activating this prophecy is actually Midori's divine power. At this moment, above the Pacific Ocean, 2 familiar figures are soaring through the sky at incredible speed. Hajime Kamaragi, do you know? I'm so happy right now. Our ultimate ideal is about to be achieved. Now no one can stop us. Soon the 2 flew above NY City. Look, there are 2 people flying in the sky. One of them is the world's strongest awakener, Midori. So cool. People on the ground took out their phones to take pictures. The number 0 apostle looked at these weak humans below and couldn't help but smile. Then he extended his hand and began charging energy. Come on, let's begin. Dad, make sure to get Midori-san in the photo too. He's my most admired idol. The boy raised his hands wanting to take a photo with Midori. However, with Midori as the center, terrifying energy continuously expanded in the air. At this moment, deep in Midori's mind, Midori's consciousness was sealed here, only able to helplessly watch everything happening before him. Goodbye, everyone. Skill, turbulence. The scene comes to the anti-prophecy organization side. I was eating today's lunch in the cafeteria. Suddenly Shinji came over with his phone. Did you see today's headline news? Awakener Midori caused devastating damage to NY City. Countless lives perished in this disaster. The number 0 apostle directly opened a spatial rift, and several powerful auras emanated from within. I'm afraid the number 0 apostle has already reached cooperation with the invaders. At this moment, the commander of Country A's anti-prophecy organization is questioning Country J's commander. Even if someone else is controlling Midori's body, you can't deny that you bear some responsibility. We're considering whether to use nuclear weapons against him. For him, nuclear weapons probably won't work either. Back to my side, I had finished eating. Then I looked seriously at Shinji and said, Shinji Suo, I now appoint you as vice captain of the Kanagi unit. I've already sent you the training curriculum for later. Before departure, use every means to become stronger. What about you? What do you plan to do during this period? Sleep. This time I might need to sleep for quite a while. Don't wake me unless it's something important. Sleep? I still don't understand you, but I believe in you. I accept your appointment. Minato, leave everything to me afterward. In the training ground afterward, the Kanagi unit members are training desperately. Kaname Iryo and Eisuke are developing a combination technique. Shuichi Mikado and Kyo Nishina are also sparring frantically. Akane and Hikataro are preparing to try breaking through their limits. Finally, Shinji and Ichika Hinoki are constantly learning the Hinoki-style sword technique. As for me, I returned to my room, after hanging a Do Not Disturb sign on my door. I closed the door and went to sleep. The next second, brilliant light emanated from within the room. After falling asleep, I came to my own sigil space. 106 masters were waiting here. Everyone was ready. As long as I'm in deep sleep, time in the sigil space flows several times slower than the outside world. Therefore, I came here to receive special training from Raichiro. Come on, let's officially begin. With just a simple strike, I was cut into several pieces. Body parts scattered everywhere. However, the next second I was restored to normal. Then another slash. Raichiro struck at me again. Your attention is scattered. I won't show mercy. Prepare for death. 2 consecutive death experiences left me terrified. Kid, I'm going to crush your will and completely collapse your consciousness. The powerful aura made even the watching progenitors feel worried. Eilerson quickly tried to step forward to stop him. Raichiro, wait, isn't this too much? However, he was stopped by Tak Wong and Molestius. Eilerson angrily questioned them about why. Tak Wong and Molestius didn't answer. Because all of this stemmed from Ryon's carefully planned scheme to rapidly improve my strength in a short time. To defeat the modern strongest awakener Midori, Ryon devised this special training plan, but the danger was also extreme. Dying and regenerating at this speed, it wouldn't be long before my soul would dissipate in these repeated deaths. Though this was a terrible gamble, it was the only way to gain even a slight chance of victory. But Raichiro probably isn't the type who knows how powerful he is. I'm starting to worry about Minato. Don't worry, I believe Minato will definitely overcome this threshold. He's the student we're all most proud of. At this moment, I once again recovered from death, sorry, Raichiro. Just standing face to face with you brings endless pressure. It's like being thrown naked onto an extremely cold, snowy mountain. I took a deep breath. Can I try again? I saw all of Raichiro's movements enter my vision, then continuously magnify. The next second, I was cut in half at the waist again. Both my body and head were completely separated. Raichiro seemed to sense my change. Not bad, beyond my expectations. One of Raichiro's hairs slowly drifted down. I recovered and stood up again. Next, I'll get serious. I'll do my utmost to kill you. After speaking, Raichiro erupted with even more powerful aura, and I also found that slight chance of victory. I will become stronger, then return to my comrade's side. Let's go again. At this moment, in the capital of Country 1, a figure kept waving toward the sky. Long time no see. This person was Aldi Valdwaji, a special agent from Country I, and the person he was greeting was actually Midori. Do you remember that super prophecy? If you hadn't arrived in time to solve the boss, this city would have turned to ash. Midori quietly listened to the other's words. Are you done making a scene? You should know that the one standing before you is no longer him. This body now belongs to me. Do you think saying a few words can awaken Midori's soul and snatch back control of the body? How ridiculous. Do you know what he's saying inside right now? He's screaming in agony, telling you to run quickly. Midori, I'm very sorry, but I can't run away. This is the city I protect. The next second, both erupted with powerful auras. The scene comes to Aiganen. The commander explains to them the war between humans and other dimensions, starting from the Tower era, then the appearance of spatial rifts to the current prophecies. Throughout the long history of warfare, many people have been seduced by other dimensions. Traitors who only want to destroy the world have appeared one after another. Just then, Tengen Shenanome received information. Country I has been defeated. The enemy is currently moving toward Europe. As expected, they don't dare come to our place. That guy has just seized a body. His soul and body haven't fully adapted yet. Conversely, the more battles he fights, the stronger he'll become. The commander immediately ordered all captains to assemble. We must defeat the number 0 apostle now. This time I'll personally take action. Soon all captains assembled. Now we place our final hope in the Kanagi unit, and what we need to do is use all our strength to hold back Midori. Never thought we'd become supporting characters one day. Wonder how much longer they need? About 2 more days, I think. We depart now. The next second, everyone was wrapped in a semi-transparent white cloth. Above the ocean, the number 0 apostle was speeding rapidly. However, he was suddenly blocked by something. Didn't expect you'd all deploy together? A semi-transparent sphere appeared before them. The commander led everyone here. Let's send that demon back to hell. But the number 0 apostle took action first. He raises his hand and unleashes a skill turbulence. The terrifying power surges forward. However, it's blocked by the commander's mirror of Yata. Don't underestimate me, you little runt. The captain behind her also breaks into a cold sweat from that strike. Turbulence was successfully defended against, truly worthy of being the commander. To think she had such a defensive skill. Even Midori, who had been with her since childhood, didn't know about it. I haven't used this skill in battle for 100 years. Everyone is amazed upon hearing the commander's words. Just how strong is the commander's true power? This is actually the mirror of Yata's ability. And the mirror of Yata has 2 skills. The first skill, complete reflection of known enemy skill effects within a certain range. The complete opposite of Molestius's Ma'agal Ha'eme. At this moment, the number 0 apostle raises his hand again and activates the skill Fire Wheel. Several flame tornadoes form around Midori. This very skill completely incinerated Country. This is troublesome. But this time the commander speaks again. Everyone, don't worry, I understand the Fire Wheel skill very well. As she speaks, the flame tornadoes are slowly approaching. In the next second, terrifying energy shoots out from the mirror, colliding with the flame tornadoes. The mirror of Yata's second skill, complete reproduction of skills reflected in the mirror. The horrific explosion overturns even the seawater. Number 0 apostle is puzzled amidst the giant waves. Why was his own attack neutralized? Meanwhile, Captain Makabe has quietly appeared behind Midori. Even though Midori has already noticed, Captain Makabe shows no fear and assumes an attacking stance. He then unleashes his ultimate skill, Infinite Chain. Heavy strikes rain down on Midori's face. One punch follows another, fists falling like countless meteors. It's not just simple striking. With each hit, the opponent's body becomes a bit stiffer. What an excellent skill. All attacks hit their mark. My task is simply to suppress you. To render you immobile, now wait for your death. All the captains surround him. Realize the Firebird. Secret Technique, Sacred Flower, Golden Bat, Necromancy. All the captains unleash their ultimate skills on Midori at the center. It's over. Go to hell. At this moment, Midori reveals an eerie smile. You're all quite interesting. Midori then unleashed Skill Pearl Storm, and countless flame tornadoes instantly appear around them, surrounding all the captains, then swallowing them whole. I'm sorry, we can't go back. Captain Makabe's mind recalls the image of Soa Hisagi constantly shedding tears, remembering the scene when they departed. Soa Hisagi and others hurriedly rushed over. Captain Makabe, please wait. Why are you all here? We heard you're planning to fight the leader of the 12 disciples. Please take us with you, we want to contribute too. I'm sorry, you should go back. Soa Hisagi's eyes begin to moisten upon being rejected. Is it because you think we'll get in the way? Although we're lacking in combat ability, I still want to stay by the captain's side like a shield. Little Soa, do you know why I'm participating in this foolish battle? Think about it simply. With Midori's combat power, even if we all attack together, our chances of victory are very low. The power gap between us and him is too great, so even if we ultimately don't return. But you're still here. Stay behind from now on, the future is entrusted to your protection. After saying this, the captains departed. Everyone hates their own weakness. Seishiro Asahina silently turns around. He's given us a mission. Let's go, we also have things we must do. Before the Kanagi unit completes their training, no matter what happens, we must protect them. There's no time left for us to cry, isn't that right? Captain, we pray for your safe return. Little Soa, farewell. The scene returns to the present. A terrifying energy continuously overflows from the center. The next second, a massive explosion occurs, destroying everything. After the explosion, only one figure emerges from the smoke. Now all the small fry have disappeared. The world has instantly become quiet. Don't think you can defeat me with numbers. It's like small fish trying to fight a shark. No matter how many there are, it's useless. While number 0 Apostle is still gloating, he suddenly discovers a sun has mysteriously appeared above him. Tengen Shinonome is holding a massive fireball. Thanks to everyone sacrificing themselves to buy me time. This skill apparently needs time to activate. The longer the time, the greater the power. Just as number 0 Apostle raises his hand to attack Tengen Shinonome, an ice chain firmly binds his arm, until number 0 Apostle's entire body is restrained. This chain belongs to Shiki Kitamori, who had been waiting for the right moment, activating the artifact, Chain of Submission. Don't move, stand still and accept righteous judgment. Damn it, it's an artifact. I can't use any strength. Is this the chain's effect? Tengen Shinonome is also ready. This is the maximum power he can currently unleash, Heavenly Descent. The massive fireball slowly approaches number 0 Apostle below. Foolish guy, is this the old woman's battle plan? Even if I can't move, I can still use maximum power wind to deflect it. However, the next second, number 0 Apostle discovers in horror that an identical fireball has also appeared beneath him. The commander activates the Mirror of Yata's second skill, complete reproduction of skills reflected in the mirror. Now number 0 Apostle begins to panic. Bastard, damn old woman, release me. For humanity, for the future, rest here in peace. The next second, the two massive fireballs collide, followed by a terrifying explosion. And all of this is witnessed by distant observers. Several warships are heading toward the battle center. This is truly incredible. The center of that light sphere must be several thousand degrees. No one could survive in there. This should be completely over now. At this moment, Richard and the two Transcendents behind him seriously look toward the explosion center. It's not over yet. A purple light appears at the center of the light sphere, instantly dispersing the light sphere. Number 0 Apostle appears before everyone again, completely unharmed. You people, even an attack staking your lives couldn't kill me. This body is simply wonderful. Even being hit by a fireball of several thousand degrees leaves me completely unharmed. At this moment, number 0 Apostle has already been locked onto. Countless artillery fire shoots out. However, the next second, a purple storm covers the entire area. Fighter jets and warships all explode. Number 0 Apostle laughs excitedly. The purple storm strikes toward the last warship. Marcus on the warship immediately activates his ability. A golden protective barrier envelops the entire warship. However, he still underestimated the power of this strike. The protective barrier slowly begins to crack. Ha ha ha, all go to hell. At this moment, golden powder suddenly floats in the air. Don't celebrate too early. Artifact Sand Cage of Time. Number 0 Apostle is instantly trapped in a bird cage. Number 0 Apostle looks at the cage before him in surprise. This really caught me off guard. You should know what this is. It's the same as what you gave your subordinates. So what? To destroy this cage requires a massive amount of energy. Do you still have that much energy now? Are you just trying to buy time? Do you think that when this cage automatically disappears, you'll have a way to deal with me? You know nothing. The one who will defeat you will appear then. Is that so? Let me guess. The person you're talking about is Minato Kanagi. How do you know? I can see all the memories of this flesh. This is how Midori commented on him. He is the one who will end all prophecies. The commander can't believe that Midori would regard Minato Kanagi so highly. From the moment I seized this flesh, Minato Kanagi became the first name on my must-kill list. A prophecy terminator. Such a person absolutely cannot exist in this world. The next second, number 0 apostle again erupts with terrifying energy, instantly filling the entire cage. Commander, you're the one who knows nothing. This body of Midori is still growing. The energy used so far is just the tip of the iceberg of what's in this flesh. If I continue to increase the energy usage, what do you think will happen? At this moment, the commander senses danger and immediately uses the Mirror of Yada for defense. However, it's too late. The cage instantly collapses. The next second, Midori appears before the commander and directly pierces through her chest. How is this possible? It's over. Country J is in that direction, isn't it? Minato Kanagi, wait for me, I'll come find you soon. The Kanagi unit members training somewhere in Country J also sense this evil wave. It seems the old woman and the others failed. Let's prepare to depart. The next battle is ours. In the anti-prophecy headquarters monitoring room, Rin Kitamori is extremely anxious, as she hasn't received any news from the battlefield. Powerful cyclones cover the entire sea surface. Satellites can't probe the information inside. Just then, with a familiar voice, a group of figures appear out of nowhere behind her. Rin Kitamori excitedly turns around and shouts, "Sister?" Behind her, Shiki Kitamori appears with everyone through teleportation. Each person is covered in wounds. At this moment, the commander is severely injured and in mortal danger. Quick, save grandmother, she's dying. It turns out that before departing for battle, the commander gave Shiki Kitamori an important mission, to entrust everyone's lives to her. The moment the captains were attacked, Shiki Kitamori used her ability to transfer all the captains to safety. And just as the enemy attacks, it also causes her to pause in action. Using this opening to lock onto him, then having the commander and Tengen Shinonome attack from both sides, finally having Shiki Kitamori transport both of them out of the battlefield. Understood, even if I risk my life, I'll complete this mission. However, the next second, she's met with a hand chop from the commander. Who told you to die? This mission has one important prerequisite, ensuring your own safety. After the battle ends, you must bring everyone home. Put your own safety first in protection, even if I face danger. Do you understand? Don't make me say it a second time. Shiki Kitamori tearfully accepts this important mission. I really wish we could be together forever like when we were children. Don't worry, I won't let anyone die. That's what I fight for. Back to the present, the commander lies on the operating table covered in blood. Please, grandmother, you must be okay. Before departing, you promised me. My skill is time reversal. But it's ineffective on grandmother who used an artifact to stop her flesh's time. My healing skill isn't strong enough. Even with all my effort, I can only maintain her life. Just as everyone argues about what to do. A powerful aura envelops everyone. Damn it, they're here. At this moment, above the anti-prophecy headquarters, all remaining members of the 12 apostles have arrived. Let our carnival begin. Shiki Kitamori is immediately overwhelmed by rage. I'll kill them all and avenge grandmother. Rin Kitamori tries to stop her, but it's too late. The next second, Shiki Kitamori appears before the enemies. Skill, spatial division. The space before her is immediately divided into square blocks, like a Rubik's Cube cut into small spaces. Then the spaces are scrambled and transferred. Large-scale deployment of this skill will cause unpredictable results. The power of spatial cutting spreads toward the 12 apostles. Buildings along the way are continuously cut. At this moment, Hajime Kamaragi assumes an attacking stance. Artifact, Relic of the Abyss. Skill, Kulika Strike. The moment he draws his sword, countless sword lights flash, instantly shattering the spatial anomaly before him. Where Shiki Kitamori originally stood, only an arm cut into several pieces remains. Hajime Kamaragi, you're as merciless as ever. What a pitiful little girl. Are you all blind? The opponent isn't dead yet. Over there. It turns out Shinji Suo arrived just in time to save Shiki Kitamori. Behind him stand other members of the Kanagi unit. The moment Ichika Hinoki's sword slightly unsheathes, the apostles feel a wave of pressure. Terrifying energy erupts from Ichika Hinoki's body. Sorry, our captain overslept. Let us entertain you all first. Until he wakes up. Number 0 apostle looks thoughtfully at the several people who suddenly appeared below. Isn't that Shinji Suo's younger brother? And Special Forces member Ichika Hinoki. Who are those other two? Since those two aren't in Midori's memories, their strength shouldn't be strong. How dare they appear here? Kaname Iryo nervously looks toward the 12 apostles. Both Eisuke Sakazaki and Kaname Iryo's auras simultaneously rise as they prepare to activate skills. Space around the 12 apostles begins to fluctuate. Number 0 apostle immediately uses turbulence to try to stop them. However, the next second, before the skill is released, he along with the others disappears. Only Shiki Kitamori remains, looking at this scene in surprise. And beside her, the nervous yet excited Kaname Iryo. A transfer skill? How was this accomplished? The next moment, Eisuke Sakazaki reappears. Eisuke Sakazaki, carrying a medical kit, explains, "This is our combination technique. Kaname Iryo's skill, My Sweet Home. Eisuke Sakazaki's skill, Extended Self. Through contact, the two skills combine, extending what was originally only applicable to oneself, to any personnel on site. High-precision transfer to locations where I've placed personal items. Ichika Hinoki and Hajime Kamaragi are transferred to the mountain where she trains. The 12 apostles numbers 10 and 7 are transferred before Kyo Nishina and Shuichi Mikado. Finally, number 3 is transferred to the encirclement of Hikutaro, Akane, and Shinji Suo. The strongest number 0 apostle is transferred alone to a blood-red deep sea. Number 0 apostle looks around in confusion. What is this place? Being here, I can't sense up, down, left, or right, and it's filled with giant beast shadows. More and more deep-sea giant beasts are attracted by number 0 apostle's aura. This is actually the underground cavern beneath the Anti-Prophecy headquarters, where Captain Tsuruzaki often fishes. The 17th rift, Shimo Aijito, due to its extreme complexity, this dimensional rift has never been conquered. The rift expands outward by 10 centimeters each year. Last time, Eisuke Sakazaki threw his belongings into it, for a day like today when it could be useful. This is a prophecy that even Midori couldn't destroy. Number 0 apostle, how will you respond? The scene returns to the mountain. Hajime Kamaragi is quite calm about being transferred here. So my opponent is just you? Yes. It seems the transfer went smoothly. What about the others? They went to a place they'll never return from. You think I'd believe that? You're planning to defeat us one by one. It seems you're very confident you can handle me. Of course, except for your boss. You're all just trash relying on artifacts. Hearing this, Hajime Kamaragi becomes very angry. He immediately uses his strongest sword technique through the artifact, Kulika Strike. Countless sword lights strike toward Ichika Hinoki. Ichika Hinoki uses her skill, Dawn Solitude. Ichika Hinoki's pupils instantly show cherry blossom patterns. This skill is her unique natural ability. But from childhood, it was considered a useless skill. Its effect is to eliminate all external and internal factors, fixing her mind and body in optimal condition. This means her concentration and physical abilities can be displayed at maximum level, which means she can unleash her strongest strike at 100% capacity before Hajime Kamaragi can react. Ichika Hinoki is already before him, striking with one sword. A body trained by a transcendent who specializes in martial arts cannot be replaced by any external object. Too weak. Makoto is several times stronger than you. In the large training ground of the Anti-Prophecy headquarters, Kyo Nishina and Shuichi Mikado face 2 members of the 12 apostles. Number 7, Queen of Cards set, so now it's 2 against 2. You two look quite fierce. What should we do, Ashara? At this moment, it suddenly starts raining. Set, you're responsible for finding our target. I'll handle these two, number 10, Ashara. The next second, a heavy punch strikes. Shuichi Mikado doesn't bother listening to their nonsense. One punch sends the opponent flying. Don't underestimate us. Shuichi Mikado charges forward again. The moment number 7's attention is drawn to the battle, long hair wraps around her. This is Kyo Nishina's skill, to avenge Shinji Suo. At this moment, he's filled with rage. He quickly wraps number 7 tightly. You're still upset about that, are you? The next moment, lightning fills the sky. 2 bolts of lightning instantly strike Shuichi Mikado and Kyo Nishina. Number 7 takes the opportunity to break free and scatters many playing cards, skill, Queen of Hearts. The playing cards around her all grow arms and legs. Go, my servants, find Minato Kanagi. The playing cards all begin to move upon receiving orders. Kyo Nishina tries to stop them. However, another lightning bolt strikes down, forcing him to retreat. Damn it, I can't stop them. I'm sorry, your opponent is me. My skill is called Mask of 1,000 Faces. I can materialize joy, anger, sorrow, and happiness. Number 10's expression immediately changes. Mask of 1,000 Faces. The face of anger. Brats, I'll kill you all. The next second, countless lightning bolts strike down. Meanwhile, at another battlefield, Akane unleashes even means at the enemy. However, it's instantly shattered, and the opponent attacks Hikutaro. Hikutaro retreats while continuously counterattacking. Akane occasionally summons blocks for interference. Hinoki-style sword technique, Soaring Tengu. Shinji Suo strikes number 3 at the right moment. However, in the violent tornado, number 3 simply waves his hand, instantly dispersing the entire tornado. The 3 protagonists look painfully at number 3 in the sky. Damn it, Failed again. What kind of monster is that guy's right arm? That's enough, isn't it? You can't possibly defeat me, so just let me kill you obediently. I don't want to waste too much effort on you. It seems we're being underestimated. Then let him see our true strength. You're Makoto Suo's younger brother, aren't you? The supposedly strongest Captain Shinji Suo actually died at Tolf's hands. How hilarious. These words instantly enrage Shinji Suo. He raises his sword and charges at the opponent. However, this plays right into the opponent's hands. Number 3's arm transforms. Skill La Traviata, a dark sphere condenses in Number 3's hand. The next second, the three are swallowed by blinding white light. Meanwhile, in the medical room of the Anti-Prophecy headquarters, Captain Yushima is still anxiously treating the commander. Other medical personnel are helping heal the captains. Soon all the captains recover from their injuries. We're preparing to help the Kanagi unit. Wait, it looks like we have trouble here. Outside, a group of playing card soldiers are continuously rushing toward them. All personnel enter battle readiness. Protect Minato Kanagi from disturbance. However, at this moment, a terrifying aura arrives. When this aura fluctuates, the entire Anti-Prophecy organization experiences an earthquake. The energy source is from the spatial rift where Number 0 Apostle is located. What a monster. Is he coming out so quickly? Eisuke Sakazaki and Kaname Iryo immediately realize Number 0 Apostle is about to emerge, just as they prepare to work together to send him even further away. Eisuke Sakazaki suddenly looks up to see an amazing sight. A massive blue energy emanates from the building. An arm bearing the mark of void is directed at the commander's wound. This person is the savior everyone has been hoping for, Minato Kanagi. It's okay now. Leave the rest to me. Rin Kitamori looks at me in surprise, thinking of the terrifying energy constantly erupting in the distance. She asks me, can you win against that guy? I confidently reply, certain victory. But before that, I have something else to do. The next second, the apothecary sovereign, Warrantine, takes over my body. Io, sorry to keep you waiting. If it's the current Minato, he should be able to use that skill. Skill, Sacred Medical Tome, Divine Droplet. The energy in his hands turns to liquid, and continuously increases, flowing endlessly into the commander's body. In the apothecary sovereign Warrantine's mind, there's a book with no mention of death. The Sacred Medical Tome. This book records supreme medical wisdom, capable of maximizing patient healing. Soon, the wound at the commander's heart is repaired. Captain Yushima and Rin Kitamori watch this scene in amazement. How is this possible? Not only was the wound repaired, but the heart was completely healed. Soon the commander awakens. Seeing Warrantine standing by the bedside, she immediately recognizes her. You've come. Warrantine immediately gently grasps the commander's hand. Yo, you can't move around yet. I'm sorry, I can't stand up. Sleep for a while. When you wake up, all injuries will be healed. Then everyone can eat together again. So the commander closes her eyes and falls into deep sleep. Warrantine looks at her sleeping close friend, her heart filled with rage. Everyone, let's depart. The scene moves outside, where a group of card people are about to invade the building. Skill, Metal Reinforcement, 1000th Blow. Seishiro Asahina of Yorozuya Unit arrives first. Surprisingly, even a full power strike only eliminates one card. The other card people hit only suffer minor injuries. Martial Arts, Lethal Chain Blast, Soa Hisagi of Makabe Unit immediately follows up. However, they're quickly surrounded by card people. These card people are just like the puppets released by Eva before. Each soldier can match En's combat power. At this moment, Soa Hisagi is ambushed by a card person and kicked flying. Damn it, how can I fall in a place like this? She recalls Captain Makabe's parting words. This world is entrusted to your protection. The mission the captain entrusted to me, even if I stake my life, I must complete it. Well said. Martial arts, stone punch, countless arms suddenly appear behind Soa Hisagi, instantly shattering the card people before her. It's Captain Makabe who appears. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm back. Soa Hisagi sees the captain has returned, her eyes already moist. On the other side, a golden light flashes. Skill, Golden Bat. The captain of Yorozuya Unit shatters several card people with just one swing. These guys are pretty easy to smash. Follow me and let's finish them quickly. Seeing the two captains appear, Soa Hisagi and Seishiro are extremely excited. That said, we probably won't be needed. At this moment, I'm floating above their heads. Since the card people's target is me, they're now all surrounding me. Just as they launch their attack, I've already raised my sword and assumed a stance. Hinoki-style sword technique, Shadow Vortex. As a sword light flows like water, this sword sweeps 360 degrees around me with no blind spots. All the card people are cut to pieces. The two people below look at this scene in the sky in disbelief. At another battlefield, Number 7 senses something happened to her card army. How is this possible? Those were my 500 plus card soldiers, and they were all slaughtered in an instant. Sete, what's wrong? Did you find Minato Kanagi? Learning that the card army was completely annihilated, Number 10 wants to personally go kill me. However, He's tied up by Kyo Nishina and Shuichi Mikado and can't break free. At this moment, Shuichi Mikado takes a deep breath, then steadies himself, raising his right hand toward the enemy. His entire aura changes. Please go to hell next. What? What are you planning to do? The next second, Number 10 discovers something strange has appeared on his arm, with 2 characters written on it. Skill, Holy Seal of Exorcism. A large number of light orbs shoot out. Number 10 and number 7 are surprised by the light orbs. However, they soon discover these light orbs seem rather slow. For both of them, it's easy to dodge. Are you an idiot? At this slow speed, who do you think you can hit? But before finishing the sentence, the light orbs that were flying straight suddenly changed direction and rushed toward number 10. Why are they all coming for me? Is it the mark on my arm? Most likely marked when I was attacked earlier. Even if these light orbs can track, what good does it do? The speed is too slow. However, the next second, Shuichi Mikado suddenly appears behind him, landing 3 consecutive punches on number 10, sending him flying. The toyed with number 10 is furious, summoning lightning to strike down again, but Shuichi Mikado easily dodges. You bastard! Those light orbs earlier were your decoy, attacking me while I was distracted. I'm sorry, your reasoning is incorrect. At this moment, number 10 realizes he has 3 more marks on his body. Watch your back. The light orbs from before have now caught up behind number 10, and their speed has actually increased. Number 10 narrowly avoids being hit. Just as he's puzzled, Shuichi Mikado attacks from behind again. 1 punch smashes him to the ground, immediately followed by dozens of light orbs shooting toward him. Number 10 can only retreat while using skills to defend. The speed is even faster this time. It seems related to the number of marks on my body. Each additional mark multiplies the light orb's speed. Damn it, can't avoid them anymore? The next second, number 10 is hit by countless light orbs, and each light orb feels like one of Shuichi Mikado's heavy punches. Number 10 is completely engulfed by the light orbs. The originally stormy sky suddenly becomes clear. Has your face of anger ended? The wounded number 10 struggles to get up. Facing Shuichi Mikado, he feels fear. What to do? Being touched by the light orbs is the end. Please don't come near me! The next second, number 10's skill triggers. Mask of 1,000 Faces. The face of terror. He begins continuously emitting purple poisonous gas. Anything touched will be corroded. On the other side, number 7 is again caught by Kyo Nishina's hair and shouts, "Get away from here quickly, I don't want to die from rot. You're so noisy." Number 7 is then tightly wrapped in hair and continuously drained of magic power. The cards around number 7 all fall to the ground as they lose magic power, soon wrapped like a cocoon, unable to move. I'm done here. On the other side, Shuichi Mikado stands at the edge of the poisonous gas, firing 20 more light orbs into the sky. Forgot to tell you, being hit by light orbs also adds marks. Now number 10 is covered in marks. The light orbs track toward him. Now the light orb's speed is 5,800 kilometers per second. How will you avoid them? With a scream. Number 10 is once again hit by all the light orbs, creating a massive explosion. After the smoke clears, only a charred corpse remains on the ground. I won. Makoto, did you see? I used this skill to avenge you. Going back to their childhood, Makoto said, this skill is too cunning. Once you get hit, it's over. Idiot. You have to be able to hit the enemy first. Against powerful enemies, I might not land a single hit. Just like Midori, I can't hit him at all. Haha, your skill is useless against me. Just wait, I'll use this skill to become a Special Forces member, then I'll definitely give you a punch. Then work hard, you shameless bastard. Midori, just wait, this time I'll definitely land a punch on you. Kyo Nishina has also finished. Number 7 on the ground has been drained into a mummy. Meanwhile, at another battlefield, number 3 delivers a powerful strike to Shinji Suo. Hurry up and go to hell to see your brother. Shinji Suo is unfortunately hit, one arm now unusable. Akane says impatiently, so noisy. Can you be quiet? Minato Kanagi, watch this, even I can do it. Akane's eyes turn green. 15th lesson, Trismegistus Mepharus Zer. The scene moves to the mark space. Alchemy is the study of change, understanding all phenomena, turning the unknown into the known, then making changes based on the original foundation. This is what must be learned in the 15th lesson. Akane should be able to master it thoroughly. Back to the battlefield, Akane uses the skill, Trismegistus Mepharus Zer. At this moment, number 3 begins condensing energy again, firing toward everyone below. This attack has quite a number. I must block it.